Happy Monday, degenerate gamblers. Welcome back to the Die Hard MMA podcast. It's your boy Clint. We are rocking the baby blues, coming off of a win, feeling good after UFC Freedom 250, the White House card. And oh, good Lord, do we have some stuff to talk about today? It is UFC Vegas 119 fight week. We are going to break down that entire card for you guys here in just a moment. If you're not interested in recapping the UFC White House card, feel free to come on back in 15-20 minutes or so. We will have timestamps for you in the description below if you're watching this, from the future. If you're not live with me here right now, then of course timestamps are always going to be in the description below. Give me like 30 minutes after the live stream ends and I'll get those timestamps up for you guys. Hope you are all doing well. What is up? Welcome in chat. Muhammad, what is going on? And the first comment, I love this. This man came in here early to post this up for everybody to see. Now we all know really how good Khabib was. And ain't that the damn truth? Absolute statement being made. Dix Insider, what is going on? He says he's guess who's joining Malcolm Wellmaker at the local McDonald's for breakfast? That's right, one Illia Topuria, who couldn't deliver the KO for us. Oh man, but he is 17-1 and he's headed to McDonald's. Love to see it. Andy, you have my sympathies, my friend. I think Illia Topuria ruined a lot of people's parlays. I really thought the big underdog was going to be earlier on the card. We talked about how it's a short card. It might just sweep favorites, but probably one of these guys is going to roll in and pull the upset. Frankly, I never even really entertained the idea that it was Justin Gaethje that was going to be the one to do it. So crazy night. Sorry to hear that. And George in the same boat with you guys. Ilya ruined my weekend. Everybody feeling the blues. Grateful dude. What is up? My man, Dan Levy from Half the Battle says, call my uncle up and let's get some stat diggers Die Hard going since we're all in the room already. I know, right? We might as well just cross the streams at this point. VB, what is up? Says taking no breaks. That's what's up. And my man, Razor Sharp Picks. What's up, buddy? You guys, Razor is on an absolute tear right now. I always talk him up on every single stream. You should see some of the action he is pumping out. It's been incredible. I don't bet most of the other sports unless Razor tells me to. And that absolute meltdown in the NBA Finals, he had us on the first quarter of that game instead of being on the full game money line, and that'll cash you a ticket and save you a bundle. No drop ball at the end there. Make sure you're checking out my boy Razor. Hi, what is going on? Louis Mack Jr., Tyga in the house, TH Annie, what is up? The It Factor MMA, Vinzi, what is going on? All right, Vinzi, by the way, just so you guys know, is my soccer guy, like officially. That's he's in the DMs helping me out with this World Cup bullshit because I have no idea what's going on. All right, guys, let's go ahead and bring in our guest because, like I said, I'm really excited. Talking about everything that happened at the White House card, there's so much to go over. I want to get our co-host in here for the night. It is none other than Brady, DFS by the numbers. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's up, man? It was a wild night last night. It was a late night for me, but it was an incredible night last night. I feel like I'm looking forward to talking more about what happened last night at the White House than about this card, to be honest. But there's some interesting fights. I've got some hot takes, and I'm looking forward to breaking down this card with you, Clint.
Love to hear it. I'm looking forward to breaking it down with you too, my man. It honestly, for being a dumpster after a giant card, it's better than you'd expect, I feel like. Usually we're picking the bare bones off of a dead carcass after like a pay-per-view. I remember the 2-3 weeks that came after UFC 300. It was brutal. So maybe only having 7 fights on this massive card was the way to go, because now we have an okay Apex card to talk about this week. Oh man. But so let's do it. Let's not waste any time. Let's dig into it, man. So if you guys didn't watch the White House card, first things first, it started with weather problems. So they delayed the fight card for like an hour because of thunder and stuff like that. People got pissed at me, Brady, because I went ahead and I passed that information along. I was like, yo, they said they're pushing back the fights an hour, so everybody adjust your clocks, be ready. Well, then for God knows what reason, they started like 8 minutes early. They were like, well, nope, not doing an hour. We actually meant like 55 minutes. So I had somebody bitching at me because they missed half of the first fight on the card based on my information. I'm like, it wasn't me. They said it was getting pushed back an hour. I didn't know they were going to start early. So I think they were worried about some more poor weather rolling in the evening. So they were probably trying to, get the fights going. But that's how our day started out, right? We were lagging from the jump.
Yeah, I did a pre-show at 6 o'clock. The plan was to go like 2 hours, and the pre-show ended up being like a 3-hour pre-show. I was like, oh my gosh, man! But it ended up working out. I was able to bring some people on. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I was worried about there being another weather delay throughout the night, but it kind of played out perfectly, where it's like the weather was perfect. It looked like.
Yeah. I guess Alex Pereira said that he's in tune with nature, and there would be no rain during the UFC card, and he was correct. So I guess we have to trust the shaman from now on. So the first fight of the night, man, I was on Steve Garcia as my dog of the week. Small dog, but damn, he looked good. Yeah, he was absolutely beating Diego Lopez's ass. It was not a close fight. And then in the second round, Diego was like, okay, yeah, I'm done with this. And just decided to like crank it up to 11. And poor Steve Garcia. I talked about that chin, and it's why it was like a 1-unit play instead of like a 2 or a 3-unit play. I felt like he had the right skill set to beat a guy like Diego. I just didn't know if he had the durability to beat Diego. And sure enough, he did not.
Yeah. For me, for this fight, I bet the fight won't start round 3. I was kind of hating the bet, and it was like Diego just couldn't get into that second gear. Like just like the Volkanovski fight, it's like he was not able to get in that second gear for like 25 minutes straight in both fights. And then it's like he got hurt in that second round by Garcia. And then it's like he's like, okay, F it. I'm gonna come forward. I'm going to swing. I'm going to trade. And that's what he needs to do. Like this guy, Diego Lopez, is next level durable. And the durability difference between both these guys is wild. So he needed to get kind of into a dick swinging contest. And you saw once they started swinging dicks, Diego had the better, the bigger dick. So yeah, I got the fight won't start round 3 there, but it was a little bit of a sweat because I was like, dude, Diego, let's fight, buddy, let's fight.
Yeah. No kidding. And man, some of these totals this week were pretty treacherous, man. I talked about I leaned Steve Garcia by decision all week. I thought it was a little dangerous to actually go so far as to bet that prop. I felt like it was a good idea, but I wasn't sure it would get there. But I kind of liked the over 1.5. The fight ended at 2 minutes and 42 seconds of the second round. So if you bet that over 1.5, you cashed, but just by like an eyelash. It was that close to being an under instead of an over. So good on you if you bet the over. Good on you if you're one of those people who bet Diego Lopez. I was not at all confident in Steve Garcia, but he was like minus 225 live in that second round. So I felt good at that moment. But yeah, wasn't meant to be. The collaboration play with Eric Trump goes down in flames. Bo Nickel and Kyle Dawkins, man. This is one where I kind of regret talking myself into the dog a little bit here, Brady. I knew from the jump with, I've been a big advocator for the durability issues of Kyle Dawkins. I keep talking about it. He's not a guy that has a chin. And so when this fight first got put together, my very first instinct was, oh, Bo's getting another KO. But then as I dug in and I did the research and I sat with it, I kind of got to thinking man, Kyle's got Bo Nickel beat everywhere except for just like pure wrestling and then the athleticism. He's got better cardio. He's more well-rounded. He's taller. He's longer. He's got far better striking. Like, man, I was really starting to convince myself on some Kyle Dawkins here, but the timing couldn't have been better because I was going to live bet Kyle Dawkins going into round 2, Brady, after seeing, you know what, they're not going to let these boys sit on the mat. They're not going to let Bo Nickel grind on this card. They're making sure Daddy Trump gets his entertainment, stand these boys up. Like, I was like, okay, so they're going to make them stand. And Bo already was taking some deep breaths. You could see some questions, behind his eyes. You could see the confidence a little bit dipping once he knew he had to stand. So I was about to pull the trigger on a live bet, and then wham, that was all she wrote. He puts Kyle Dawkins down and gets that round 1 finish. So go Bo Nickel.
It's a great performance, man. That's the one fight I didn't bet on last night, but it's like, and I know hindsight's 2020, but it's like it was probably always Bo Nickel by knockout.
It's always Bo Nickel.
And it was like plus 200, so kind of feels like a missed opportunity there. But yeah, and that stand up in the first round was like weird. It's like Bo Nickel was doing good work on top. He was landing nasty elbows. He cut Dawkins, and Herzog's like, all right, get up. And then, yeah, he knocked him out. It's wild.
It was nuts, man. It was honestly nuts. Good on Bo. I still have my doubts about him. I still don't know that he's going to transition into being this incredible force at this weight class. Like, I think his cardio is suspect, and I don't think he likes standing with people. I'm not sure he's ever going to develop that striking skill set. If you give somebody he can bite down on the mouthpiece and swing and hurt like a Kyle Dawkins, then sure, he's got power. But if you've got somebody who can take a punch or two, I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
My man Skywalker in the chat. What's going on, buddy? It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Now, Mauricio Hufi and Michael Chandler went about perfect for me, man. I bet the under 1.5 in this fight. And I had been talking about, maybe it's Rufi round 2, maybe not round 1. He looked way better than even I expected. Michael Chandler did come out looking for takedowns. He did come out looking to level change and back this guy up and all that stuff. Mauricio was ready for all of it, dude. Like, Chandler didn't even have, I can't remember a single spot of success. I think he landed like one overhand when he like faked the double leg and came up top. He landed like one punch. This was a one-sided ass beating.
Yeah, like this was like the square bet of the card. Like, Hoofy by knockout, right? And I wasn't going to bet anything on this fight, but the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, dude, I mean, Hoofy's going to knock out 40-year-old Michael Chandler, whether it's in the first or whether it's in the second. Like, if he has success wrestling early, then he's probably in the second. If he's not able to have success wrestling, or if he doesn't even try to wrestle, it's going to be in the first. So I ended up just taking the Hoofy KO 1-2. Pretty much sweat free. I mean, Michael Chandler was looking up at the clock with 3 minutes left in the first round. Yep. It's like, once I saw him look at the clock with 3 minutes left in the first round, I'm like, yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
No kidding. Tiger with the right idea here. Chandler needs to retire. Zero interest in watching him fight again.
He's like 1-7 in his last 8 fights or something. It's crazy.
It's tough, man. And I mean, even watching that performance, even the moments that Chandler would have in round 1 where he made his opponents uncomfortable, that's gone now too. He didn't even do that. It was just lamb to the slaughter. So yeah, I think that's probably it for Michael Chandler. One would hope anyway. We all had to bear witness to the execution of Derek Lewis in the next fight, which was a crying shame. Josh Hokett came out and did exactly what we needed him to do. You know what? I say that, but he started off with like 3 spinning wheel kicks. Like, what the fuck was that? Who wrote the game plan for Josh Hokett? Like, that made no sense to me. He did go and get my takedown. That's what I needed. I had a parlay with the over 1.5 takedowns. And Hokett by knockout apparently was free money, but he gave everybody a heart attack by going for an armbar at the end of the first round. I mean, I collectively heard the entire United States of America's buttholes pucker when he went for that armbar because everybody bet the KO prop.
Hokett needs to go to Team Octopus with Dan Levy to work on that armbar. I mean, that was bad, man. I mean, I thought he might finish it too, just because Derek Lewis was like actively, I think, looking to quit in that fight.
He was done.
Yeah, this fight was frustrating for me because I had the fight ends by KO, got it at a solid price, and I had the under 1.5. I love the under 1.5. Quite frankly, I didn't think it was getting past the first, and looking at that fight, it really shouldn't have. Like Hoke, you could have finished him a lot sooner. He was in full mount in the first round, and instead of raining down ground and pound, he was doing weird shit. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
Why didn't he go to the body?
I know. And then in the second round, it literally looked like Hoke had bet the over. Lewis was actively trying to fall down, but Hoke was like holding him up against the cage. It's like, just punch him. He's going to fall down. He wants out of there. And then the fight ended up going over. So I hit the fight ends by KO, but I didn't get the under, which was frustrating because that was one of my favorite spots on the board. I didn't think Lewis was lasting 7.5 minutes.
Dude, pretty surprising, actually. So another one, like we were talking about earlier, man, 4 minutes and 9 seconds into round 2. So if you bet the over 1.5, that was a tasty little plus price tag on that one, you guys. I kind of felt a little queasy about laying minus 210 on an under 1.5 on that one. We talked about it on my Friday show, and I was just like, oh, that number though, man. If they might have got me if it was a little more affordable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Zach in the chat saying he was in mount, or who's that in the chat? Yeah, Louis in the chat said it. He was in mount, and then he just started standing up instead of ground and pounding. Like, what are you doing, Josh Hogan? Like, Louis was like covering up. What are you doing? You let him off the hook.
The only thing you can trust with Josh Hogan is that you can't trust Josh Hogan. So
yeah,
he's always
awesome, he's awesome. He's a great fighter.
He is awesome. And now, just so you guys know, remember, there's a little bit of politics being had just because of this card being on the White House and literally being a parade for Donald Trump's birthday, etc. So buckle in. Don't get pissy in my comment section or be a dick or anything like that. Some even keeled comments coming. I will say I felt like Josh Hogan's post-fight thing was distasteful, man. I know left versus right. Everybody makes, politics their identity these days, etc. But calling the wife, the first lady of the United States of America, a man on national television, that didn't really sit well with me. I didn't think that was something that should have been okay. Dana White came out afterward, of course, and said that he's not the free speech police, but we have seen him shut down many other people in the past. Like, Sean Strickland wasn't even allowed to be at this event. He ended up getting arrested and walked out by security barefoot because he tried to sneak in, that kind of thing. So that was, I do got to say, that was a bit of a rough look. I liked that Josh Hogan dropped the act at the end. I think it was because he was exhausted, though, not because he was being intentional about not being a goofball, but I think he was too tired to do the rhyming at the end of that fight. But just one of those things where, we talk about a certain level of respect, right? Like put the shoe on the other foot. If we're doing a giant show, it's the biggest event of all time ever, and someone gets on the mic afterward and says Melania Trump is a horse, like, they're not going to like that either, man. Like, it just, we probably should have skipped that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was on the fight companion with Weasel. I didn't hear the post-fight speech, but my mom texted me and she was like, he just said that Michelle Obama's a man. I'm like, what? He said that at the White House? I was like, dang.
That's the kind of thing that, trying to legitimize our sport, like, we're not going to win a whole lot of new fans doing that. You know what I mean? Even people who are like diehard, right wingers and stuff like that, there will be some people that'll laugh at that kind of a comment, obviously. But I mean, the sport in general, and I think normal people, middle of the road people, all of them are going to be like, what the fuck was that? Like, it's just not going to help us in any way, shape, or form. So not a fan of that. But my entire night came down to the next fight, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Round 2 KO, buddy, 4 minutes and 2 seconds. You couldn't get me to round 3. Brady, I've got 11-1 on a round 3 prop. I went big on Sean O'Malley's knockout prop at plus 185. I talked about it on the Friday show. He looked the camera. He looked America dead in the face at those ceremonial face-offs like a day or two before at the pre-fight press conference. And he goes, I guarantee the knockout. And it wasn't like, oh, title shot, I'm going to get the knockout. Like, it wasn't like that. It was like, look at me in the face. I guarantee you I'm knocking this man out. And I went, okay, Sean, bet. Let's do it. And it's one of those spots where, honestly, in hindsight, I wish I had put more money on it. Obviously, when you win, you wish you had put more money on it. But, like, I just believed the guy. I went, you know what? That's like iron steel spine type shit that he's like, yeah, I'm knocking him out. No question. And I was like, okay, I believe you. So that felt good. I got the cash I needed for the night. That locked up and guaranteed a winning evening for me at that exact moment. I wish I had gotten the round 3 sprinkle, but that's like throwback Sean O'Malley, man. The footwork looked clean. The hands looked fast. The speed was good. He showed some power. Zahabi was on the back foot for a long time. I will say I was getting a little sweaty there in round 2 because the way Zahabi changed the game up and started attacking those calves, that was having an effect. He was being very, very effective, just inside, outside, constantly. Every time Sean O'Malley let a hand go, he was eating a leg kick coming back the other way. And I think I would have cashed my round 3 had it not been for the leg kicks. It really appeared, at least to my eye watching live, that Sean O'Malley was like, yeah, we got to end this. You know, like the way he was getting his legs beaten up, I think he decided it was time to go. That if he had kind of been able to control his pace and extend the fight, I think I still would have cashed my round 3, but Zahabi turned it into a little bit more of a brawl.
Yeah, I mean, the good hit. This was my biggest hit of the night. I had KO 2-3 at plus 470 for 0.75 units for like a 3.5 unit win. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's like Sean O'Malley should be knocking out Ayman Zahabi. I mean, that was Sean O'Malley's easiest fight since like Rolian Paiva back like 4 years ago. It's like this guy's been fighting Marab, Piotr Jan, Aljamain Sterling, Song Yadong. All these guys are so much better than Zahabi, who I'm just not. I know we won like 7 fights in a row, but Zahabi's one of the biggest weasels in the sport. It's like every fight is a split decision-ish type fight. You know, Sean O'Malley should have been styling on him. So, yeah, I love Sean O'Malley in that spot. I'm kind of with you. I'm like, it was a good hit, but holy crap, I kind of wish I went heavier on like the O'Malley KO prop.
Yeah, it seemed easy in hindsight, but same thing as the Bo Nickel spot, right? Like I should have bet that one, and I got paralysis by over analysis on it instead. So glad I made it to the window with Sean O'Malley KO. Loved his call out of Piotr Jan at the end of it. Definitely hoping to see that rematch soon. That would be fun. Co-main event: Alex Pereira, Michel Pereira, Alex Pereira, Cyril Gane. Oh, Brady, I had this one, man. I had it in the bag. I talked about how Cyril Gane at heavyweight was just going to be too much. Somehow he was the faster fighter, even though he was also the bigger fighter. And the way Pereira heavy carrying around that extra weight, like there was just a lot of factors for me going towards the Cyril Gane side of things. But the fan in me wanted to watch Alex Pereira make history. And the gambler in me has lost way too much money trying to bet against Alex Pereira that I just couldn't, my poor little heart couldn't take it if I lost money against him again. But that Cyril Gane KO prop was upwards of plus 300, man. And that's the very first thing I thought to bet when I broke this fight down. So missed opportunity, and I am wearing the baby blues. I got a win out of this fight card, man. But a 6-unit swing on the fight not going over 1.5, Brady. The anchor to my 3-leg parlay was just, hey, Cyril Gane never wins a fight before round 3. So I just need over 1.5. And it looked like it was cruising until he clipped Alex Pereira at the beginning of the second round. So very, very frustrating for me to lose that one. But hey, Cyril Gane has legitimate UFC gold at this point. And frankly, I'm not even in the least bit excited about it.
No, I mean, how could you be? I don't think Cyril Gane has any fans. Like I've been saying it all week. Like if you're a fan of Cyril Gane, let me
Zero
know.
aura.
Nobody's let me know that they're a fan of Cyril Gane. Like even French people were like, I'm French and I don't like this guy. So I think it's bad for the sport. But I had the over 2.5, man. It's a Cyril Gane fight. This guy's, he's not the best finisher in the world. It's like he finished Alex Pereira quicker than he finished Sergey Spivak, who's a vampire, tied to Ivasa, Derek Lewis. Even Dontel Mays lasted longer than Alex Pereira in there. Even 40-year-old JDS lasted longer than Alex Pereira. So it's Gane's quickest finish since like Rafael Pessoa back like 7 years ago. So I love the over. I got a ton of CLV on it, which I never like. I mean CLV. It's a CLV curse, but
CLV hurts in MMA, man.
yeah, I knew once I got that CLV, I might be in trouble. But yeah, I had the over. I never really bet overs, but I thought it made a ton of sense there. I was liking the over, and then he landed a big shot. I kind of missed it. I looked away for a second, and then all of a sudden, Gane's on top of Pereira hitting him in the back of the head multiple times. So, yeah, lost the over there, man. And although I picked Gone, I really wanted Pereira to be a 3-division champ. I thought that would have been pretty cool. And I think they could, make some cool fights in the future with Pereira, but they still can. But I don't know. Cyril Gane as champ, I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it.
I don't love it either, because now Pereira's in a weird spot, right? Do you cut back down to 205 at his age after putting on the muscle to go up to heavyweight? Can he cut back down to 205 safely? I don't know. Does he stick around at heavyweight and just fight a couple of contenders up there? I don't know. It's a weird spot because 205 is moving on from Alex Pereira, but our champion has a blown ACL and is out on the sidelines for a while. Do we do another Yuri fight? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what does he even do at this point that makes sense? It's really put everybody in kind of a weird spot. And yeah, I don't think Cyril Gane has any fans. He has absolutely zero aura. I don't care that he has a belt right now, but that's how weak the heavyweight division is. So maybe Josh Hokett can save us from him, but I doubt it. So it puts us in a weird spot. Does John Jones just swoop back in, whoop Cyril's ass a second time, and take the belt back?
I don't think Jones is fighting ever again.
I agree. I hope not.
Got like a hip problem or something. I don't know.
Dude, that would be even worse. Okay, if Cyril Gane, he feels illegitimate because he's lost to 2 real guys, and now that he's finally got the belt, if he loses again to another guy who's not real, who's gonna retire and disappear after one more fight, like it would just heavyweight would be broken. Like, forget closing the women's divisions, close heavyweight, because we don't even have a real champion at this point.
Yeah, I want to see Pereira versus Hokett. I think that'd be fun. Like the press conference as well. I think it'd be a good one.
The build up to it was fun. I definitely think that's a fight to make if you want to hang around at heavyweight for Alex Pereira. That does make sense. But man, the way Hokett's going, he's probably on the short list to challenge for a title up at heavyweight. So 1 or 2 more fights and we might be getting Hokett versus Gane. Let's see, Topuria and Gaethje, the main event of the evening, an absolute banger. I had the over 1.5, and again, butthole completely puckered here, Brady. I loved this thing getting up and over the 1.5, but I'm still not entirely sure how that happened because it looked like Gaethje was a dead man halfway through the first round. Illia Topuria's game plan was just walk forward. Like there was zero doubt in his mind that he was going to get that first round KO. And I feel like if he had 20 more seconds, he probably would have gotten that first round KO. But Gaethje survives, and this savvy brawler that somehow never cracks his chin completely, drags Illia into deeper waters. The fight gets extended, and then all of a sudden shit hit the fan. Illia's orbital breaks, his eye is swollen up. Like, it was an absolute dogfight. And even, okay, so this card was awesome, right? The Hokett thing, I don't like the Obama shot at the end of that one, but besides that, the card itself was awesome. I feel like they tripped at the finish line, Brady. And again, everyone in the comments, in the chat, just make sure you be reasonable, chill out, okay? We went the whole fight card, and then they dumped like back-to-back-to-back propaganda trailers on us right before the main event, where it was like all about the, the war machine that is the United States right now. I was hoping we could do, without that, the fact that they dropped 3 of them, like right before the fight started. My guess is those were supposed to be sprinkled throughout the card, and they were probably worried about weather, so they like rushed through the fights and then went, oh, we got time. And so they played them all real quick right before the main event. That's my guess, at least. But again, I'm not a huge fan of the propaganda, that kind of thing. We knew it was coming. I didn't like that a ton. But then the stoppage of this fight, because Illia between rounds 3 and 4 tells his corner, I can't see. Guys, in MMA, that is a death sentence, because if you can't see, you can't protect yourself. And especially if we're talking about Justin Gaethje, who is the hardest hitter 155 has ever seen. Khabib himself said the hardest person to ever punch me in the face was Justin Gaethje. Like, you can't go out there with impaired vision and be safe to fight. So the ringside doctor comes over and he tells the ref, No, he can't see. Like, they check him. They do the eye thing. He's not tracking the finger well, whatever. Of course, you've got your online Twitter doctors that are like, oh, he can see fine. I can see his eyeballs. But you guys don't have medical degrees. Sit down. Okay. The doctor looked this man in the eyes and said, no, he's not all there, man. I can't let him go back out there. And the ref goes, yeah, I'm going to let it continue. So there was a big old back and forth, Brady. I had, both swords out. Like, I was taking on all comers online today. I was under the impression that the ringside doctor had the final say on medical clearance for a fight to continue. All right. Based on the rules of MMA. Guys, I was incorrect. So as it turns out, the referee is the quote, the text is the sole arbiter of whether or not a fight gets stopped. So even if the doctor does come in and say he is medically unfit to fight, the referee can say, fuck you, get your ass back in there and restart the event. Okay. First off, I didn't think that's the way it was. So I felt like this was an absolute fumble, right? A mockery of justice. They sent Illia Topuria out into the cage to die in front of Donald Trump. And that just didn't sit well with me, right? You've got a young champion, a guy who up until this point was undefeated, looking for 2 division status, etc. You have to protect these fighters from themselves sometimes. And the doctor tried to do exactly that. The referee said, nah, send them back in. And I just felt like that was a horrific choice. Now, as it turns out, per the rules of MMA, he does have the final say in the matter. I think this one needs to be looked into, man, because that's the kind of thing. There's got to be some retraining. There's got to be some disciplinary action. Like, that can't be the right choice. When a doctor tells you, yo, he's concussed, he can't see, he's not tracking my finger, you can't send that guy back out there to fight. And crazily enough, when they did put him back out there, that was one of Illia's best rounds. He got the grappling going. He got on top of Justin. He had big moments in round 4, which, again, all credit to the legend that is Illia Topuria. But a lot of people used that as justification for, well, of course he can continue fighting. Guys, these are professional fighters. That's what they do. So if you lock this man in his underwear in a cage with another man across from him, they're never going to say, at least not the top fighters, right? Like, Cody Brundage will say, no, thanks, I'm done. But Illia Topuria is never going to go, no, I'm not going to fight my way out of this. It's what they do. So of course he went out there and he fought his best. He probably shouldn't have. And if you saw the pictures after this fight, like, my heart breaks for Illia Topuria, man, because that was a life-changing beating, and we could have saved him from some of that, and we didn't. So I worry about how he's going to return from this, whether it be physically, whether it be confidence-wise, etc. Like, I'm legitimately worried about the human that is Illia Topuria in his future.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I mean, how many times, like, when fighters say the words "I can't see," like, the fight's typically getting stopped 100% of the time. Like, have we ever heard of a fighter say "I can't see" and then they let the fight continue? I don't think so. And especially
Never. I can't remember the fight, Brady. I remember very specifically something like this came up, and the fighter said, "I can't see."
Was it
And
Yadong
I feel like
Cejudo?
what's that?
Was it Yadong Cejudo?
Was that it? You know what? Maybe that was
Might have
it.
been.
Because I'm remembering the fighter tried to, like, walk it back after saying the words "I can't see," and was like, no, I'm good. Just give me a minute. And then the referee was like, no, it's over. Like, you said can't see, it's over. You know what I mean? So if they say they can't see, they shut it down. They shut it down immediately. Cejudo's actually another good example. They gave that guy the full 5 minutes, and he said, my vision is still blurry. That it's like, okay, that's enough. If your vision is blurry, you're not fighting, bro.
Exactly. So that was weird. Like, I saw Ilya say, "I can't see." I'm like, "Oh, the fight's over." And then it's like the fight's still going. I'm like, "Oh, wow. Okay. Weird."
Yeah. It was odd, man. It was really odd. So impressive as hell for Justin Gaethje. I don't want to take anything away from him. That was incredible. His skin needs to be studied, Brady, because how does he never bleed? Like, these guys car crash and he's in a war. His opponents always look like they got ran over by a Mack truck, and this guy has like a little minor swelling or like a cut under his cheek or something. He doesn't bleed. I don't know how his face is still intact after the wars he's been in.
It's ridiculous. Somebody's got to check this guy's gloves, Gaethje. I mean, it's ridiculous, dude.
Oh my god, the check his gloves was so fucking funny. Oh man, my guy Dan in the chat saying that I think Topuria wins the rematch in 2027 with the proper adjustments. And I'll be honest with you, Dan. I think with adjustments, Illia could have won this fight. You know, some of this may have been it got personal for him. He had like a 2-year long layoff because of his divorce, and Justin made comments about the wife and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I do think he came out with like a Terminator mentality and just really wanted to hurt Justin Gaethje, and that's not usually what we see from Illia Topuria. So I'm kind of with you. I do actually think that if he adjusted a little bit for the fight, I really think he expected this thing to be over in round 1. Like he said, I'm going to knock him out in 2 minutes. I think he truly believed that, and I got to wonder if he didn't prep correctly for the fight, understanding what happens if I don't kill him in the first 2 minutes. So I'm kind of with you. I just, again, I worry if we're going to get that kind of a rematch because I'm not sure how he'll bounce back from this. Obviously, I hope he comes back in full health. Obviously, I hope his fighting confidence is still intact. You just never know. You know, people from these with these kinds of beatings, some guys are never the same ever again. So, yeah, we will see. So, hey, I stand corrected, you guys. I said an American was never going to wear that American flag belt. I thought this was Gaethje being led to the slaughter for the superstar worldwide that was going to be Illia Topuria. I was wrong, man. Congrats to all the Justin Gaethje backers on a incredible bet. Sorry for all the parlay losers that had Illia Topuria anchoring on everything. It was an insane fight. It was an awesome night of fights, 7 finishes, 7 KOs. I got to shout out my guy VB. He DM'd me and he was like, bro, my friend who knows nothing about MMA parlayed all the fights to win by knockout and made like $3,000. Wow. And I'm like, how is it that easy? Like, how did we not just look at this and be like, oh, you know, we could have tied like 2 or 3 or 4 KOs together. I got fancy. I tied a couple decisions in there. I thought maybe there'd be a sub. No, it was just favored in KO all the way down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I picked 6 knockouts, so I was like 1 away. I picked a decision for the co-main. I thought it was gonna be gone by decision, but no, he knocked him out.
It's crazy, dude. And yeah, Zach saying, I think I need to stop betting against Gaethje. Like, seriously, there's certain guys that was me and Pereira. After a while, you just have to go, okay, fuck it. Like, I'm done trying to beat this guy. He keeps getting me instead. The one last thing I want to touch on here real quick with you guys before we get into UFC Vegas 119, and then we do have to move on. I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the biggest scandal that MMA really, I think, has ever had. For those of you who weren't active online before the fights got started, about an hour before the fights kicked off, Daniel Cormier tweets this. He says, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for bringing this to light. By the way, I'm reading this for the audio listeners, guys, because they can't see what this is, right? So he says, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for bringing this to light. However, I refuse to stay silent. The UFC is a sport, and I'm deeply passionate, and I will not tolerate this type of insider behavior. Shame on anyone for trying to ruin this beautiful event. And what is attached to this are DMs from Eric Trump, son of Donald Trump. Okay. And now if you look at this, it looks like it's the verified Twitter profile of Eric Trump. Yes, I know there are websites where you can generate fakes, etc., things like that. I looked at it. The dates match, like the account creation date, things like that matches. And he basically asks Daniel Cormier, after a little bit of flirting, if there are any fixed fights on this card. And DC kind of reads him the riot act and then posted this thing out publicly. Now, this has been the source of a lot of back and forth in the community, okay? And for me, again, I am not the kind of person who gets my entire identity wrapped up in my politics, okay? So no matter which side of the fence you are on, I'm thinking from a very logical standpoint on this. There's a lot of people who immediately disregard this and swept it under the rug and want it to go away and say, no, never, blah. Okay, so I just want to lay out the timeline for you guys, okay? First and foremost, this is real as far as Daniel Cormier did, in fact, post this, okay? The very first thing that happened was people said it didn't happen. The post was up for about 2.5, 3 minutes. Daniel Cormier then deleted the post. People screen grabbed it, which is why I have a picture of it. And people who we trust within the MMA space and community, guys like Adam Martin, saw it on their timelines to confirm that this was, in fact, something that got posted from Daniel Cormier's handle. Okay. So if you want to say fake, it is a real tweet. Okay. It did, in fact, get posted. So Daniel deletes it. Eric Trump posts something to the effect of, these are AI generated messages. It's obviously fake. They're not AI, right? It is an actual post. Daniel Cormier did, in fact, post it. So that already was just damage control lie number one that was immediately shot down and incorrect. All right. Daniel Cormier then posts, bro, are people really this dumb? Okay. So the insinuation is that people believing that that was a real tweet, those people are really stupid. Okay. That post came, what, 30, 40 minutes or so afterwards? So it's this big gap of silence after he deletes the tweet. And then he goes, yo, are people really this stupid? That's the only thing that he posts out there. Okay. And so what we have are kind of two options here. They're claiming that DC's account got hacked, and you shouldn't believe that post. He got his account back, and he's like, what is the matter with you? Are you people stupid? Okay. I know people who have gotten their accounts hacked and have gotten their accounts taken away from them, etc. There's a recovery process time, you guys. So if Daniel Cormier's account did, in fact, get hacked, he would not have gotten control of his own account within 3 minutes. Just plain and simple, he would not have. The people that I was talking to online, Brady, I got into it with this guy because he was like, oh, he's at the White House. He's with Trump. They're buddies with Elon. Of course he got his account back fast. I'm like, okay. So the story that we're spinning now is that he got hacked. The hackers posted a fake tweet. He got, Elon on the phone, I guess, and got the corrected access back to his account, controlled it, deleted it, and then posted a snide comment. That's what we're saying. Okay, so that's the timeline we're working with now. Well, so what happens next is he posts a meme coin. So now the Daniel Cormier handle, which we are all saying is hacked, is posting another message where he's posting up like an Eric Trump meme coin, click here, subscribe, whatever. Okay, so it looks like a hacker. Yes, okay. That gets taken down almost immediately too. So we have the original post, fake, made it up, didn't happen, deleted. We have the Are People That Stupid post. And then we have the Trump meme coin advertising that gets deleted immediately too. So people are saying he got hacked and they're just kind of sweeping this away. Guys, it doesn't make any sense, because if he got hacked, he then gets his account access back within 3 minutes. He deletes the initial post. He makes fun of everybody for thinking there might be a sliver of truth to this, mocks them for it. Okay. That post doesn't get deleted. So you're telling me he got hacked twice, Brady, twice in the same night. They left up the one tweet in the middle of this. So hack, loses access, deletes it. My own comment, hack, loses access, deletes it again. You're telling me he got hacked twice, and both times they responded like this to get him his account access back. It just doesn't hold water, man. So that's my whole thing about this, is that it is incredibly suspicious, and the justification for this timeline does not hold water. One of the things for me is people were like, oh, do you think Eric Trump would be that stupid that he'd DM him? Yes, Brady. Like we're talking about, and again, they say, bear with me, you guys. I'm just going to cite some facts for you here. Please do not get upset at me. We're talking about, if you forget, the administration that added a literal reporter into a signal chat and posted military secrets with people they didn't intend to have in that group. We're talking about a family who is no longer allowed to operate charities in certain states because they siphoned money from children's cancer research. And we're talking about an administration that, and I'm sorry, again, no matter which side of the fence that you guys are on, we're talking about an administration that is in the open manipulating the market and committing fraud of like legendary proportions that we've never seen before. Insider trading based off information. In fact, just the event this week, Trump bought stock in TKO before they agreed to put on this show on the White House lawn. So, I mean, yes, these people would in fact do this. You know, we've seen many different moves, especially with the rise of Polymarket and stuff like that, where based on Trump's internal war plans, people are making millions of dollars trading in the middle of the night before those war plans break the very next morning. So again, it's not would he be stupid or would they do this? Yes, they would. So Brady, I just don't understand how people are sweeping this away so quickly. Okay. And my whole thing is if it all gets tracked down and it turns out that it really was nothing, then okay, fine. So be it. But it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I didn't know he posted a meme coin after that as well.
Again, they deleted it.
I didn't see that. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So I was kind of watching it really closely at that point, man, that the fact that he posted the meme coin, everyone was kind of like, oh yeah, okay. It got hacked. All right, fine. It got hacked, you know, but then a couple of people kind of started calling out that they're like, oh, so this is the only logical explanation that it got hacked. So now you're going to push the, oh yeah, it got hacked, etc. You know what I mean? Like the reverse Uno card was like, we know you think it should have gotten hacked. And yeah, it was a whole mess, man. It was a whole mess. Weird situation. And Skywalker saying, why is this turning political? Again, it's not, you guys. It's not. This happened, okay? This is not political. I'm telling you, and I told you guys at the beginning of this, I'm telling you facts about the situation. This is the timeline of what took place. And everyone want to, you know, just freaking go nuts about it. TH saying, I love you, Clint, but come on, have you heard of the Clinton Foundation? See, guys, this, again, I'm not picking sides, okay? That's not what this is. And just for 1 second, you guys, because a lot of people have kind of come after me on this. I am a very firm believer, Brady, TH, you guys in the chat, all of you, every single one of you. Let me just tell you this right here and now. I am a huge believer in accountability, okay? This, what about the Clinton Foundation? What the fuck about it? The dude hasn't been in office since I was in elementary school. Why are we talking about the Clinton Foundation? If there's fraud and things that are wrong going on right now, I don't give a fuck who is in office. We should stop them and they should answer for the laws that they broke. I don't care, okay? Like, I don't care if it's left, right, up, down, sideways. We need to be better about holding people accountable for things that they do that are wrong. And that's kind of my point with all of this. Daniel Cormier, you guys, is one of my all-time favorite fighters. Okay, he is the standard for me. And I've always compared the whole John Jones versus DC thing. I like DC so much more than John Jones. Yeah, John Jones beat him a couple times, but DC is a stand-up guy. He's always stood on his morals. He's always stood for what is right. He said the right things. He's a role model. That's the reason I liked him so much more than John Jones. I lost a lot of respect for Daniel Cormier this week because it's so blatantly obvious that this is a poorly thought out lie that's being swept under the rug as quickly as humanly possible. Okay. And even when they tried to, like, someone like paparazzi'd him afterwards and like put the camera in his face, he's like, I got hacked or something, like, or something like, and it's one of those things where he wouldn't even like answer the question directly. It was a very political performance. You guys believe that? Why would I do that? You know what I mean? It's like none of those are answers to the fucking question, man. So yeah, I think this was absolutely a thing that happened. And I think he's in a position where he probably got called out by the powers that be instead of making a bigger fuss about it. And he probably got told to sit down and shut up, and he did. So, you know, it's the end of the thing. Let's see, bro, he got hacked. Why would he post a meme coin? You guys are missing this. How are we not getting this? So he got hacked the first time. He got his account back. He makes fun of everybody, right? So DC has control of his account. He gets hacked a second time and posts a meme coin covert. Is that what you're saying? So he was hacked twice in the same night. And in both times, Elon got on the line and gave Daniel Cormier his phone back within 3 minutes. Is that what you're saying? Because he did, in fact, post the original one, and he did, in fact, post the link for the meme coin. Like, anyway. Well, but okay. So you're saying he was already hacked. Yes, but then so why did he delete the first post that called out Trump, that would have caused the stir, that would have made the Trump family look bad? If he was hacked during that, why would he delete that? And if he was hacked during this, why did they leave up the, bro, are people really this stupid? Right? So if we have now, okay, we've got 3 tweets. We have deleted 2 of them because they were hacks. Why are we leaving the one standing that was in the middle saying, are you people so stupid to actually believe this? Why would that be the one tweet from the hacker that was allowed to stay up? It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense, Brady. That's all. Anyway, we can go round and round and round about this for hours, and maybe I will someday. You know, I'll just do a live stream.
You need to do a separate video on this topic. I think it's a.
I know,
people,
right?
People
I probably
love
should.
It, man. People will love it.
I probably should. I'll just turn this thing into a political commentary page instead of we're done with the fights, you guys. The diehard liberal podcast is what you guys are going to get from now on, instead of doing fight coverage, right? Oh my Lord. Anyway, man, it comes down to me, Brady, is that I want to ask questions. I want to understand what really happened, and I don't get why people are just kind of going, okay, whatever, and moving on. Like, it's kind of a big deal, man. And this is what I was going to say. I'm sorry. One more thing, you guys. It also makes sense that this is possibility because we've seen a massive influx of like fight fixing at the UFC level recently. Like, it's a thing. We remember freaking Isaac Dulgarian, the Dulgarian files. Like, we're dealing with this shit right now, man. So it's not like out of the realm of possibility that this is something that people are trying to do. So anyway, I forgot to add that. I wanted to get that in there. Let's go ahead and move on. It is time to talk about UFC Vegas 119. You guys, do me a favor, hit that like button and let's freaking go. First fight of the night, we have got Shane Collins, and he's taking on Otari Tanziliov. I'm sure that's wrong. Shane Collins and Otari in our first fight of the night. Man, these first couple of fights, Brady, it's guys that I just had no knowledge of whatsoever, which was brutal coming off of the White House card on a Sunday. By the way, fuck Sunday cards. We're never doing a Sunday card ever again, because my entire Monday I spent thinking I should still have a weekend ahead of me, and I had to cram for this show and do a whole bunch of legwork to get this thing set up for you guys. So it was rough. It was rough going to dig this info up here for the Monday show. Collins, 26 years old, UFC debut, no Dana White's Contender Series, no tough, no nothing, which for me, I don't know, Brady, I kind of feel like people don't get to the UFC on their own merit, especially, undefeated younger prospects like this very often. So I kind of want to put a little asterisk next to those guys. Maybe keep an eye out on them. Maybe look at them a little bit closely. Because if the UFC is picking them straight out of the regionals, not making them jump through a hoop, maybe that's a vote of confidence of some kind. So I'm curious here. Mr. Shane Collins, 7-0, 145-pound champ from Uriah Faber's A1 Combat. He's loose on the feet, kind of got a wide, almost karate-style stance. He's got quick hands, good movement. He likes to rip at the body. He scrambles really well, man. When the fight hits the ground, he's got good back takes. Seems like he's always coming forward, trying to dominate the center of the cage. Big step up in competition. Welcome to the UFC level. Honestly, I like everything I've seen about this kid so far from his tape. Otari, 10-1, 28 years old. This guy's from Georgia. So welcome another Georgian warrior to the UFC. He lost a split decision on Dana White's Contender Series a bit ago. He lost to Josias Musasa, if you remember him, which noteworthy. That guy is 0-2 at this point in the UFC. Not that MMA math works. We saw that proven in the main event here in this past week. MMA math never works for anybody. But Otari is very fast on his feet. He's a very good kicker. Whenever he fought Musasa, I noticed he did a real good job of changing levels. He was constantly kind of looking for those takedowns. Very Merab-esque with the relentless offensive grappling, good body lock. But, you can train with Merab. You're not Merab, though. You know what I mean? Not nearly as effective as the man that he's trying to emulate. This is a pretty fun fight, Brady. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like this one kicking off our night. Talk to me a little bit about Shane Collins and Otari. What do you think? And who you got winning this one?
Yeah, this is the one I won't be talking to you about. This is the one fight I didn't tape. But I do remember Otari from the Contender Series with the Musasa fight. And like you said, that is aging very, very bad. Like Musasa's a horrible grappler.
Not great.
And I still got to look into Shane Collins, but people were kind of sucking his dick on Twitter. So maybe he's good. So I don't have really any thoughts on this one, Clint. This is the one I didn't get to yet.
Fair enough. Shane Collins is a minus 160 favorite, you guys. Otari looks to be about plus 140 right now. I will lean ever so slightly with Shane. The only problem for me, Brady, is I think experience matters a lot. So even though Otari lost his Dana White's Contender Series fight, he still at least got a peek at that upper level of competition. And when you're working with guys like Merab, you've got the good coaches, you've got the good training partners. That's the kind of thing that will really help you develop. Develop quickly too. So with the extra experience, with the UFC caliber experience, 2 years older, like I don't want to lay chalk. You know what I mean? I think Shane Collins is a kid that I want to keep my eye on, but at the end of the day, definitely not a bet that I'm willing to make here at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Contender Series fight, dude. I mean, this is the Contender Series is like next month. Like, put it on there,
Definitely. Definitely is. Jump saying first bout, not even on any of the sports books yet. It's on Bet Online. So I actually, while I was kicking it over to Brady, I usually quote the odds. If you guys, if you watch the show, right? Usually I quote the odds right after my little preview there. I was trying to scramble to find the odds because they were not up on any of the books that I have available. It is what it is. Yeah. So I'm going to lean slight favorite on that one, Brady. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Skywalker says, I'm hopefully going to do a gentleman's bet with Clint. If he loses, he has to wear a MAGA hat and shirt. No, Skywalker. I love you too, buddy. That's not a bet that I'll be taking from you. Thank you very much, though. I'm always in for a good wager, my friend, but I'll do the karaoke before I do the MAGA hat for you on a bet payout. Next up, you guys, second fight of the night, we got Leon Shabazian. He is taking on, this guy's name, Levan Chokheli. Levan Chokheli?
That was great pronunciation. Chokheli?
Am I close?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Leon Shabazian, you guys, the older brother of Edmund. He is 30 years old, about 2 years older than his brother Edmund. He is so opposite. Usually our sibling pairs, they look really similar. This guy is super tall, stick thin, and he fancies himself a kicker. Like he just brutalizes the low calf from what I've seen on his regional footage. Really flashy when he goes up with that kick. He kind of beats up the legs and the body, and then he'll go high with it. And he rocks people, man. What's kind of crazy about Leon is he figured out how to grapple a little. His brother can't grapple to save his ass, but Leon's actually got a bunch of wins by sub on his resume. A lot of them are club and subs. He's got a front choke, man. He's got those long, skinny arms, so he finds his way under the neck when people get hurt, when they shoot, when they level change. Don't get it twisted, you guys. The Shabazian family takedown defense is intact here. This guy can't stuff a takedown, but he does at least have a deterrent. He does have a way to threaten if he gets taken down. He's been knocked out 4 times. 3 of those KOs have come in the first round, and it's because he keeps his hands low, man. He's extremely hittable. If you crash the pocket on this guy, he will go at it. And he's really fought some cans. I don't know why he's getting the call on this fight, Brady, because his brother's not on the card. If he got the call up to the UFC when it was like a double Shabazian fight night, that at least would make some sense to me. But you look at the resumes of the guy he's fought, and Shout out my guy Dan in the chat. Andreas Hale, I think, was like his most recent victory, and that's the only one that even has any weight to it. 8-7, 10-8, 4-9. Like, he's beating absolute cans in his route up to the UFC. And I actually a big fan of Andreas Hale, you guys. Back when I was interviewing fighters and stuff like that, Hale came on the podcast for I think he was one of my 3 fighters that ever came on when I thought I was going to be the next Ariel Helwani. So yeah, man, shout out the big blue king himself. But this Edmund Shabazian guy is yeah, I think he in fact is discount Shabazian. I think he's buns. His opponent here, Levan Chonk, is 14-3, 29 years old. He's another Georgian fighter, which love me some Georgian warriors getting on the card here. He's a transplant from Bellator, you guys. Losses to guys like Lorenz Larkin, Yamaguchi, Crutchmer, but he's beating guys like Michael Lombardo, Saba Hamasi. Like, give a look at his resume here. He's been through quite a few Bellator fights, actually, for just being 29 years old. He's explosive, but boy, is he reckless. He loves to just kind of bully people around the cage. He's got crazy ground and pound, Grady. When he really gets on top of guys and goes for it, he's looking to do damage immediately. He starts fast, but he also fades. Like, this guy gives me massive Michael Chandler vibes. Like, if he gets to round 2, he's about 50%, right? He slows down big time from what I've seen. The cardio is a big question mark for me. A lot of times people don't really make it there, though. He dips his head forward, he wings wild hooks, but he keeps his hands low, leads with his face. He's got 11 wins by knockout. He's got big power. He's only been submitted once. I don't know that Levan is going to light up the UFC, Brady, but I think he whoops the ass of Shabazian.
Yeah, when I saw they signed Leon Shabazian, I was like, why? I mean, this guy, he's a front choke merchant, and that's that. He has no wrestling. He has horrible striking defense. He has a terrible chin. He has probably even worse cardio than his brother, which is wild. He's been knocked out in all 4 of his losses. Phil Rowe knocked him out in the 3rd round on the Contender Series. Phil Rowe pretty much broke him in the 2nd round. You know, arguably they could have stopped it after the 2nd round was over, but they let him go back out there in the 3rd and finished him in like the first minute of the 3rd. And then Gabe Green finished him in the 1st round years ago. I think he's been knocked out in the 1st round 3 times. I just don't see how Shabazian wins this fight outside of a front choke. Like, I'm watching this guy's fights and it's like he's winning by front choke. That's it. He's either winning by front choke or something off of his back. So if you're Chokheli, don't wrestle. I mean, he could if he wants to. Like, takedowns will be free, but it's like that's giving Shabazian the one path. If you're Chokheli, swing that dick and knock this guy out. You know, Shabazian has horrible strike and defense. He has no chin, and Chokheli hits like a truck, dude. So yeah, for me, it's Chokheli. Round 1 KO. I don't see this fight getting extended. Shabazian's been over, I think, only once or maybe twice in his career. I think the fight goes under here, and I think it's a round 1 KO from Chokheli. If he loses this fight, quite frankly, he should be ashamed of himself because Shabazian has like one path to victory, and it's literally like a front choke.
Dude, cut him immediately. Like, if he loses to this guy, cut him immediately. He's a minus 310 favorite, you guys. I know most books don't have some of these lower end fights up yet. He's a minus 310 favorite on Bet Online. And as much as I don't like betting on guys with bad cardio, I don't like betting on guys with bad chins, but Chokheli is a rightful favorite, in my opinion, in this fight. He should just run through this guy on the feet.
Yeah,
just don't stick your neck out. Just don't put your neck out there, man. That's all you got to do.
The thing that scares me is Chokheli can actually be taken down, and he has been sub before. So if Shabazian did have wrestling, it'd be like, yeah, you know, I don't want to lay minus 300, but Shabazian like doesn't wrestle in his fights. Like, he comes forward, hands down, he pressures. That's great, but he gets hit in the face, and he's kind of hoping that you take him down, right? So
yeah,
it's wild.
Is it Tagir Ulanbekov? Is that the front choke Russian? He reminds me of that. Yeah. Right? Where it's like, I'm going to kick you until you shoot. When you shoot, I'm going to try to Ezekiel choke you. That's it. Or high elbow guillotine you. That's it. That's all he's got. Oh, this one should be rough. Hopefully it's a round 1 finish. That would be fun. All right, moving along, you guys. We're a little bit behind because of my my liberal rant over here. So we're going to talk about Carol Hossa and Luana Santos. Carol Hossa, I gotta tell you, Brady, bit disappointing for me. I really thought she was gonna be something. I loved her volume. I loved her toughness. I loved how she came forward. Now she's 19-7. She's 31 years old. She's 3-3 in her last 6 fights. Like, it's tough, man. Her last couple of fights have really not done her any solids. She fights really closely with people. She doesn't ever distance herself. If her opponent hangs around, she kind of lets them back into the fight. I remember, the glory days where against like Piani Kinzad, she put up 117 significant strikes. Against Irene Aldana, she put up 204 significant strikes. Brady, I was like, she lost that fight against Irene Aldana, but I was like, that's the corner. Like, she's there now. She's going to be a title contender. She's going to put her foot on the gas. Nope. More split decisions after that, right? More close fights. So she's got 70% takedown defense. She pretty much forces you to stand with her, but she doesn't have the power to put you away. She's not pumping out the kind of volume that she used to. She's a really solid gatekeeper, but really hard to trust. Luana Santos is 10-2. 26 years old, 2-1. Dan, thank you. I had my wrong bearded Russian, Said Nurmagomedov, not Tagir Ulanbekov. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Luana Santos is 2-1 in her last 3 fights. She has back-to-back wins over Melissa Croden and Tainara Lisboa. She had that fluke KO over sick as a dog Juliana Miller that everyone's maybe still thinking she's got some KO power in her hands for. It was a complete fluke, you guys. Don't believe that one. I don't know what to make of this girl. She's got herky-jerky stand-up. It is improving. She is young. She's getting better. I think she's definitely got some upside. She does bite down and wing that big overhand right. Doesn't really have a ton of power, but her submissions is where the game is at. Use that striking to crowd your opponent, close the distance. If she can get it on the ground, she can absolutely tie people into pretzels. Really slick submissions, very dangerous grappling, but she will do like the women's MMA headlock and like throw type thing. So she makes some young girl mistakes. You know what I mean? And that's the type of thing that you've got to worry about. With an opponent who has a 70% takedown defense rating, I just worry a little bit about her. This is kind of a pick'em price tag. You've got Santos like the -105 underdog. So Hossa is like -115, -120. And old Clint, you rewind just like a year and a half. Luana Santos was somebody who was kind of on my shit list. She was one of those younger fighters that was like, boo, you're never going to make it. Get off my lawn. I've grown a little, Brady. I'd like to think that I'm growing and developing still. And I am giving these young kids a bit more of a chance. The UFC likes her. The UFC sees something in her. Obviously, she's got that grappling under control. That's where her game shines. And I just don't know about this fight going up against somebody who's going to be very difficult to take down. I know she can't volume the way Carol Hossa can on a good day, but is Carol Hossa going to throw 115 significant strikes this fight, or is it going to be a 50 significant strike type of performance for her? I can't trust Carol Hossa because she will fight this thing close. God help her. She will make sure this fight ends up being close and the judges have no idea who won it. I think I want to lean with Luana Santos. If she gets it to the ground, she should be able to dominate. Maybe she can steal some big moments with power shots. Maybe she can grind on the fence a little bit. But Brady, I want a better number. I want more plus money on Luana Santos to play her. And I can't trust Carol Hossa. So I'm kind of leaning with like Carol Hossa to Angie Hill, this girl, and like give her that lesson, but I don't know if I want to doubt the young rising Luana Santos either. Help me, Brady. Help me. I'm lost on this one.
Yeah, it's a very close fight. I did my prediction video early before the White House card, and I actually picked Santos because I think it's going to be a very, very close fight, but I picked her and she was plus 120. She's minus 105 now. So this fight's approaching a pick. I mean, I agree with it. It's a very tough fight. It's a fight where, at first I thought, I think I lean Hossa. Like you said, 70% takedown defense, and she's by far and away the better striker. I don't rate the striking of Luana Santos like at all. Terrible. But, Luana Santos, she's young. I think she's 26 years old. She's getting in work with like Nina Drama. And, she has that judo background. She's a black belt in judo. and she could win this fight with literally 2 takedowns because Carol Hosa, when she gets taken down, she's not good at getting back up. And then when Luana Santos gets on top, she's heavy on top. She's got that nice big ass, those juicy thighs. If Luana Santos gets on top of you, you're probably not getting back up. And I was looking through the record of Hosa. When she gets taken down at least once in a fight, she's 1-3 in those fights. So Santos could win this fight just with 2, trips, just getting on top 2 different times in this fight. And I think it has split decision written all over it, Clint, where, yeah, Hosa probably does a better work on the feet, but Rosa doesn't have like a ton of power. She's not going to have a ton of big moments. I think if anything, Santos might have more power on the feet, and then maybe Santos gets a takedown, gets on top. It's going to go 15 minutes. All Rosa fights go 15 minutes. It's going to go into the hands of the crooked, blind, corrupt judges. And then once they read the scorecards, a bunch of people are going to be mad. On the flip side, a bunch of people are going to be happy because this is going to be a split decision that can go either way. So I lean Santos, but I leaned her at plus money. The plus money is drying up very, very quickly. Maybe the line flips. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of money's coming in on Santos, it looks like.
Okay. I think that makes some sense, man. And I guess, yeah, you know what? Let's go Santos. We'll say Santos, you guys. I did not get to do as much tape study for this card as I would like to have. Again, just noting the White House card that we were up late for, etc. I was cramming a little bit of tape between the White House card fights and arguing with people on Twitter. So I'm not as fully locked in for this fight card as I want to be. I will lean with Santos. I will do a little bit more work. As you guys know, I do the Friday show. So hopefully I'll have a little bit better of like a solid foundation and belief on fights like this. You guys know I'm a sucker for WMMA. I always feel like I've got an edge in a coin flip in WMMA every single week, Brady. It never fails. I feel like I'm the women's MMA whisperer over here. I'm not, but I think I am. So surprising for me not to have like a put my balls on the table moment here at a coin flip price tag. We'll lean Luana. I'll get back to it. Question from the chat. Carlos says, what do you guys mean when you say there's better odds on domestic markets like stake betting websites? What's an example? So, Carlos, I think when most people say things like that, we're talking about like right now, the only place I can find lines for some of these fights is Bet Online. That is not a United States-based book, right? When we say domestic, we mean like homegrown books, right? Your DraftKings, your FanDuel, your BetMGM, etc. So a lot of times they will offer you juicier lines, right? Because like DraftKings is well known for like kicking out winning players. So it's only fish in a barrel like me that bet on DraftKings. So they will give you better odds on DraftKings because they know you're a lifetime loser over there. A book like Bet Online, its doors open. Sharps are allowed to come in and bet for giant piles of money. They have to have sharper lines. Usually they're not going to give you as good of a number at that kind of a book. So I think that's the question you're asking. And that's usually what people mean when they say domestics, your DraftKings, your FanDuels, etc. Next fight up. Thank you for the question, by the way. Michael as well takes on Gaston Bolaños. Fun fight. Like maybe underrated banger. Like a couple of guys that people probably don't know, a couple of guys who, maybe nobody is fans of that might not even know they're in the UFC. But Brady, this is kind of an awesome fight. Yeah. Did you get a chance to do any of the tape on this one?
I did. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it, man. I kind of love this fight. So go ahead, run away. Yeah, talk about it.
I'm not a Gaston Bolaños guy, like at all. Like at all. He has good striking. He has like those spinning attacks. Like he had like multiple spinning knockouts outside the UFC, but I just don't think there's a high ceiling for this guy. He has absolutely no ground game. I mean, this guy got taken down and submitted by Kwang Bang Lee in his last fight. I don't think he has the best durability. I don't think he has the best cardio. Quite frankly, I think it's a horrible matchup for Gaston Bolaños. So when I'm looking at parlay pieces this week, Michael Aswell for me is one of my favorite parlay pieces this week. He's training with Joshua Van and them, and he kind of has that style where he's going to go all out, throw a ton of volume, really good cardio, really good durability. He does mix in some wrestling outside of the UFC. I've seen him get takedowns in, and I think that'd be great to wrestle here because Bolaños has no ground game whatsoever. And I see Aswell winning this fight pretty much everywhere it goes. The one knock I've always had on Aswell was this dude doesn't have a ton of power. I know he knocked out, was it Lucas Almeida? But Lucas Almeida was coming in there with like a broken hand. I don't think he has a ton of power. So in some of these fights,
I remember that.
when his hand was like a balloon.
Dude, it was like a
crazy.
beach volleyball with like, you know how if you guys have ever taken like a medical doctor's glove and like blown it up, you know, like the little fingers are
Yeah,
sticking out, but it was a balloon, man. That was the craziest thing. And that was his power hand too.
I know. It was so dumb that they let the the Brazil commission. I couldn't
Unreal.
believe it. But yeah, I mean, he got a knockout there, but he's not some murderous power puncher. So, typically, like if I'm looking to fade Bolaños and I'm looking to lay a lot of chalk, I'm looking to kind of bet on a grappler. But like even on the feet, I think Aswell's just going to do a lot more. I think
Mhm.
Aswell's a lot more durable. I think Aswell has a lot better cardio. I think he has so much more volume. And I also think he could and should wrestle here because takedowns will be free and he's gonna have the much better ground game. So for me, it's Aswell. I don't like this matchup for Bolaños. I don't think Bolaños is gonna win a decision. I kind of think for Bolaños to win, he's gonna have to maybe catch Aswell early with like a spinning attack or something big. But if Bolaños doesn't get him out of there early, he's gonna slow down. This pace is really gonna get to him. So I thought I'd be sneaky, Clint, and get like a big number on like an Aswell finish prop.
Right.
But no, they're all over it. They know Bolaños is just not durable. So yeah, I might look to potentially parlay Aswell this week.
Okay, man, I like it. I completely agree with you. I was hoping the number wouldn't be what it is. Obviously, I'm with
Yeah.
you. I thought that it was going to be a lot smaller too. This is one of those weird fights where the wider the number gets, eventually you got to look at the dog just because how big of a favorite can Michael Aswell actually be? Well, he is going to be 8 years younger. You guys know that 10-year age gap is a thing when it comes to sports betting MMA fights. The younger fighter happens to win a lot when you're in that like 8 to 12 year ballpark range. As well as 1-2 in the UFC so far, but he's a lot better than that record would suggest. His short notice fight against Oki, he looked really good. He put on a hell of a fight. His split decision against Bogdan Grad, like that has aged pretty well. It showed that he's tough, he's durable, he's able to go to war. Like Brady mentioned, he can wrestle. He's got really nice boxing. I like his uppercut. As well, I thought was older, Brady. I'll be honest with you. I thought this guy was older and that he was kind of almost like a Gaston Bolaños type, where he was going to be if you had gotten to the UFC 3-4 years ago, maybe you'd be something. He's 25. Like,
Yeah.
he's actually okay. All right. So we got some time to work with Michael Aswell. I definitely think he's the side here. Gaston Bolaños is a really fun guy. He's going to have really entertaining fights. 2-2 so far in the UFC. Both those losses by finish. I did get him as the Link Memorial Dog of the Week when he fought Cratavius Romeus. So felt fun to get my cash there on him, but he's been finished in both of his losses at this level, and he doesn't seem like he's improving. He's tough. He just wants to get in there and bang. He's going to be fun as long as he lasts. I doubt he gets another contract. The UFC will probably, I think he's probably on like a new contract right now. He finished out 4 fights, so he's probably got 3 or 4 fights left to go. And I'll bet you they don't re-sign him for a third after that. So I like Aswell minus 380. It's a little bit rich, but it is one of those, hey man, click the winner type of spots. I think Michael Aswell can box up Bolaños, and I think he can handle the power coming back his way. And with the edge and grappling, he should win this.
Yeah, like if I'm doing a parlay this week, he's in the parlay. I don't know if I'm doing a parlay this week, but if I do, he's in the parlay. In terms of the props, it's like I could see Aswell winning by decision. I could see him winning by knockout. I could even see him winning by sub just because Bolaños' ground game is that bad, and Aswell doesn't even have any subs. So yeah, I could see any method here for Aswell.
I'm kind of thinking decision, just because if Bolaños is the kind of guy that we've seen, he's going to go in there and he's going to trade. I don't know that Aswell's got the power to get him out of there, so I kind of think decision. That's
what I picked, decision.
Yeah. So I'm with you. But the sub would be sneaky. I don't know if he's got that level of grappling or if he chooses to use it, but yeah, I think we get a 15-minute war. Should honestly probably be a fun fight, but I think Aswell by decision makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right, guys, next up, we got Mitch Raposo taking on Allan Nascimento. They rebooked it, Brady. It was destiny. This fight was meant to happen. The UFC refuses to get off of this booking. As you guys know, Mitch Raposo, shout out Spectation Sports. He's a Spectation guy. We are definitely rooting for him to do well. 10-3, 27 years old. And boy, did he just, Brady, I put one of those little videos out there where I was like, I think that this is certified murder. They're throwing 0-2 Mitch Raposo to Azat Maxim. It's not going to be pretty. And of course, Mitch clips it and puts it up on his social media, and he goes out there and he beats Azat Maxim up. And I get left holding the bag. I had really high hopes for Azat Maxim. If you guys remember some of my breakdowns on that guy, I was convinced that Azat Maxim was going to just be the dude. He was not. But now we've got Mitch, who is hanging around at the UFC level. He's got 2 fights that have both gone to split decision losses. I think there's an argument maybe in the Lima fight for a split. I didn't think there was an argument for the split in the Sumadarji fight, but it does show that he's at least competing well with decent caliber guys. And then he gets a win over a guy like Azat Maxim. And, maybe we've all just been a little too harsh on one Mitch Raposo. He's got good boxing. He's tough. He's got good cardio. He can wrestle a little bit. Like, he's coming along, man, and he's not even in his prime yet. So we got to give him credit where credit is due. Allan Nascimento, 22 and 6, 34 years old. He's another shoot the box guy, and he's just the biggest weight bully in the division. This guy can wrestle, and he wet blankets people. If you're too tough to sub, he just sits on your chest, Brady. It's so obnoxious. He can strike. He's got power, but he's not super comfortable on the feet. He is a wicked submission grappler. He's very dangerous with his subs. He just submitted Cody Durden in the second round. Sorry about that, which I thought Cody, if the fight got extended, might be able to kind of put some pace on him. Nascimento does have a little bit of sketchy-ish cardio if you really make him work. But, the last time he got into a battle like that was against another cardio guy in Jafel Filo, where he was able to, like I mentioned, grind, get on top of him. He also missed weight for that fight, if that means anything for you guys. But it's tough because I feel like Allan Nascimento is the kind of guy who should have already made it to the contender circle by now. He's a little bit older. He's got a bunch of UFC fights. He's got a lot of finishes. But for some reason, he's still kind of circling the bowl here with some of these guys that are either on their way in or on their way out. Like, they're not really pushing him like a contender, which I find a bit odd, for a guy that's got the record he does and the submission finishes that he does. I'm not sure that the UFC necessarily loves the guy. So, interesting fight. And I really thought that this was going to be easy peasy Nascimento, man. But I almost feel like maybe that's being a little bit too harsh on Mitch Raposo. Right now, Nascimento is minus 205. Mitch Raposo is plus 170. Known for fighting close. Do you take the shot on the dog, Brady, or is this a short line and recency bias? How are you feeling about this one?
Oh gosh, like if I could trust Mitch Raposo to just be more aggressive, I think he would be a very live dog here. The problem with Raposo is his volume's just horrible, dude. I mean, the Sumadarji fight landed 9 strikes over 15 minutes against André Lima, 32 strikes over 15 minutes against Maxim, even 30 strikes over 15 minutes. The volume's been just god awful. What I will say is I kind of thought Raposo had a huge hole in the wrestling grappling department because of the Jake Hadley fight, a few years back when, Hadley took him down in round 2 and kind of insta-tapped him. But I think Raposo's grappling's gotten a lot better, which is kind of interesting for this fight, and even showed off some improved takedown defense, really good get-up game against Azat Maxim, which is going to be important here as well. So, but even on the feet, it's Raposo should be the better striker, but I could also see Nascimento absolutely competing in the striking just by being more active, throwing a lot of kicks. Raposo just brutally low volume. Raposo's power, we showed power outside the UFC. It hasn't really translated into the UFC yet. So yeah, it's one of those where it's like, yeah, I think Raposo could be live, but do I trust him to fight the right game plan? Do I trust him to show urgency for the first time in his career? Not really. It's gonna be a pass for me. I'm gonna lean Nascimento. I was picking Nascimento in the first booking. I'm gonna keep my pick there. Nascimento, he can wrestle, he can get takedowns. Even if he can't get takedowns, he can kind of take the back standing. I think he can get some control here. And even the striking, I think, is probably going to be closer than people think, just because Raposo is brutally low volume. So Nascimento decision for me. And by the way, do you know who pulled out the first time around?
From their scheduled fight?
Yeah,
That is a good
totally
question.
forget.
Let me pull this up here real quick because I know they had a fight in between. Let me see. It was Raposo got sick. Raposo illness is what pushed it the first time.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything then.
Yeah, doesn't change anything even a little bit. I'm kind of with you, man. I think Mitch is good enough defensively that he probably doesn't get caught here. And he's a good enough, decent counter wrestler, that I think that he probably can defend some takedowns or stay safe in some bad positions, etc. And the low volume nature works in favor of Nascimento. I'll be curious to see what the spread drops at, Brady, because I could maybe be talked into a little +3.5 action on Mitch Raposo. Bank on him winning one round. And then if we lose a split decision, the bet still cashes. That might be a fun way to play it because he does always fight close.
Agreed.
Maybe a good option there. My man D in the chat with the dono. What is up, buddy? Says, much love to you, Clintus. I'll stop by to show some love to Brady and Wheezy later as well. My man D is just rolling right now. Hit a massive parlay. Congratulations again, my friend. Thank you so much for the love and support. It absolutely means a fuck ton for me. Not, obviously not saying anything more than that because I don't know how down low you're keeping it. So secret safe over here unless you want me to talk about it, because I'll put you on blast if you want me to tell the people how awesome you are. We've got Landon in the chat saying Clint's winning 17.31 units this weekend. Had a dream about it last night. Well, let's fucking go, Landon. From your mouth to God's ears, my friend. Let's hope that you're correct in your assessment. I guess everyone needs to buckle up because it's going to be a juicy weekend if I'm winning 17 units. Next up, we have got Bea Mesquita, and she's taking on Melissa No Mess Mullins. Yeah. So back to the women's MMA. Maybe a little bit less excited personally for this one than I was for the other one that we were talking about. Melissa Mullins, a little bit older, 34 years old. She is a IBJJF no-gi world champion grappler. She's 2-2 in her last 4 fights here in the UFC. She did lose in the rematch to Daira Zeleznyakova. She was supposed to fight Luana Carolina, but she missed weight in that fight. So there's now been a couple of weight miss issues. She's a big girl. She's a big, strong girl. So you got to watch the scales for this one. Make sure she gets there on Friday before you get too excited about this one. It always seems, Brady, like she's in really close, grindy style fights. She's got a clean jab. She does fire straight shots. I do like that about her. Limited striking, but she always wants to clinch. Good trips, good body lock takedowns, etc. Does a good job of getting her opponent off balanced and getting them to the ground. She does finish people. She does wear them out and hurt them late in fights. Good ground and pound, dangerous submissions from the top, but you see fights like against Nora Cornell where it looked like she was just cruising and then totally fell apart, completely gasses at the end of that fight. So there's some questions. We've seen some really great performances from her, and we've also seen some really bad performances for her. I don't really know how to rate Melissa Mullins. Bea Mesquita is 7-0. She's 35 years old, 2-0 so far in her run here, both wins by sub. She calls herself the Lady Goat, and I'm not sure how I feel about that at this point. You got to prove that kind of a nickname. We'll see. She does train out of ATT, and she's a grappling phenom. She's not young, which is something that I'm a little concerned with. Always, you guys know I don't like these late in life career transitions. But she's got serious offense with her grappling. I mean, back in the day, she submitted Mackenzie Dern, if you guys remember. That's like her claim to fame grappling, is that she submitted Dern in 64 seconds, I want to say. And she got people like Jennifer Maia by submission. So these incredible high caliber BJJ black belts who have made their way to MMA far earlier. Yeah, Bia's beaten them. And not only that, she has submitted them. So she is a monster on the ground. Now, Melissa Mullins is a fighter who is a submission grappler. She is a wrestler herself. This is going to be a ground fight, guys. Bea is going to whoop that ass, Brady. I'm calling it now. It's a sub. That shouldn't surprise you. I know women's chalk, but she's a -600 favorite for a reason. She should win this fight by sub, and I think she's going to make it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, Melissa Mullins, she has some grappling credentials, but I mean, Bea Mesquita shits on the grappling of Melissa Mullins still. Like there's levels to the grappling, right? And Mesquita is incredible on the mat. And what the thing is really underrated about the game of Mesquita is the ground and pound, man. I mean, her ground and pound is vicious. She doesn't have a ton of KOs yet, but I think she's going to start racking up some TKOs eventually. I think she has maybe 1 TKO thus far. And both these ladies actually have really good ground and pound. Like Melissa Mullins, I think that's the best part of her game. They call her No Mess. I mean, I disagree with that nickname because when she's on top, man, she's making a mess. on the face of her opponents. I mean, she's landing elbows.
True.
She has a ton of TKOs in her own right. So I think whoever gets on top is going to have success here, but I think it's going to be Mesquita getting on top. And I think she's going to, probably run right through Melissa Mullins within like the first round and a half. But the books are all over it. I saw the lines today and I was disgusted. I mean, the fight doesn't go as minus 325. Like, it's a female fight. What do you mean the fight doesn't go as minus 325? What do you mean Mesquita inside the distance is minus 280? Like, what are we doing here? Mesquita subs like minus 135. It's like, come on, man. So, I don't know if I'll be getting to this fight, Clint, but I like Mesquita to get it done. If anything, I might get a little contrarian and say, I think both these ladies have really good ground and pound. Both these ladies should have good submission defense. Why not maybe like a fight ends by KO at a big number? I could see a Mesquita, a TKO if she gets in the right position. I could see a Mullins TKO if she gets in the right position. But outside of being contrarian with that, I don't know if I'll be getting to this fight. But I think Mosquito should roll.
Okay. All right. I don't hate it. The one thing I will say, I do kind of lean the other way, Brady. We have seen a couple of people in the UFC, especially some of these women, even though they're like looking for that ground and pound, even though they're looking for that knockout, that kind of thing. When they can't get enough damage for the referee to step in and save them with women's MMA, that happens a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just can't muster up enough to get the referee to stop the fight. The women scramble, so they always end up bailing out for the sub. And that's kind of what I see happening here. Like, I think she'll dominate the grappling, and I'm with you. I think she'll ground and pound. I think she'll hit some elbows, etc. But I think when Melissa finally is like, okay, fuck this, she'll give up her back. She'll do something where it's like, it looks like it's 99% gonna be a TKO, and then she grabs the neck and it's over. So I still think she'll end up falling on sub. But frankly, man, I have zero reserves about throwing minus 600 Bam Mesquita into a parlay this week. Not even a question in my mind that is a playable line for this one, because she's going to blast Melissa Mullen on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not going to be parlaying her just because I don't know, man. Minus 600. But you got to think she should destroy. And on top of that,
Mullins is levels difference here, man.
Yeah, Mullins is an idiot, man. I mean, remember that Zelnikova fight where Mullins already beat her? It's like, why are you testing your striking? So Mullins probably does like make a mistake and get submitted here at some point. So Mesquita should roll. That's
what I'm saying, man. It's really just one of those things where I'm like, I have zero faith in Mullins whatsoever. She's older. She misses weight regularly. Brady, this is the one where she blows weight by like 3.5 pounds and has to pay like 50% of her purse, and then she retires. Like, I could see this being the one that she just is like, you know what? I'm going to die. I'm not even going to bother. Like, I legitimately could see that being the case here in this fight. I'm not going to make any argument for her whatsoever. I think she's getting wrecked on Saturday. Let's keep it rolling. Next up, we've got Vinicius Lockdog Oliveira, and he takes on André Touchy Fili, a couple of guys who I can't seem to really get my finger on here, Wheezy. A couple of guys that, while I know what they're good at, I know what they're bad at, like, they just seem to kind of elude me here for a good breakdown of their fights, or you know what? Why are we so far out of order? Why is that one? You know what, guys? That is not the fight that we're talking about. What the fuck?
Yeah, your order is crazy, man. I'm like,
I'm going off Tapology, and that's
really
the next. Okay, all right. Like, that's what Tapology has here.
They must have recently changed it then, because I had a different order.
Yeah, I'm looking through my notes and I'm like, where are my notes for this?
I know.
So okay, curveball, everybody. Topology updated the order. I guess we're talking about this one now. Sorry, it is what it is. Vinicius Oliveira, he is I like to put him in like the Yoel category, right? Yoel Romero, for those of you who know back in the day, very explode and reload. You know what I mean? He's big, he's physically strong, he's muscly, he's explosive. Flying knees, spinning wheel kicks, everything he throws, you're like, fuck, I don't want to get hit by that. That's this kind of guy. And then he's got to take a minute to recover. And if you push him, he's got to take like, an off round, or he'll hit a takedown and he'll sit on top of you for a minute to catch that wind. He needs that second wind to be able to keep pushing. But he gets it. He can keep pushing. It's totally possible. He had a massive win streak here, 4-fight win streak, 5-fight win streak if you count Dana White's Contender Series, snapped by public enemy number one, Mario Bautista, the guy that we just, can't seem to get rid of. So he's bouncing off of his first loss in a long time here against André Touchy Fili. Now, Fili is one of the weirdest cases I've ever seen, man. On his best night, this guy, I swear, could become UFC champion, Brady. Like on his good nights, he looks like $1,000,000. He's got a ton of experience, 25-13, 35 years old, and he just is male Angela Hill. He fights to the level of his competition every single time. You guys, I have not seen split decisions like this ever. Delgado, split. C-Rod, split. Cub Swanson, split. Algio, split. Charles Jourdain, split. Michael Johnson, split. Like, I mean, this guy is constantly in close fights, and win, lose, you just never know. And it's always random ass crazy judges scorecards, Brady. I don't know what it is, but I feel like everybody always thinks they were robbed in an André Fili fight, whether it's for or against. Like the scorecards are always nuts in Touchy Fili fights. He has serious power and he hurts everybody in the first round. But if he doesn't finish people in that first round, then the fight is going the full 15 minutes. Look at the Nathaniel Wood fight. That's like a perfect example. He almost got Nate Wood out of there in round one. Didn't happen. We're going 15 minutes. That's just how it works. And the other thing about André Fili, you guys, is he is legitimately like the number one poster child for alternating wins and losses. He has been alternating wins and losses, Brady, for 4 fucking years now. And the pattern is holding. I legitimately said, fuck it. And I bet Jose Delgado in their last fight because I was like, you got Fili coming off of a win. The gods will not allow him to win 2 in a row. It's not possible. It's not happening. So I cashed the ticket in his last fight betting against him in that spot. So if you believe the pattern, Fili wins this fight against Vinicius Oliveira on Saturday. The only thing is, I do feel like the submission upside, the KO upside, like that's all going to be on Vinicius Oliveira's side. It's a 15-minute fight, though. So if this thing doesn't end early, if Lockdog isn't able to just smoke him out of the fight, then we're going for a hard 15 minutes. And you can bet your ass the judges are not going to know what to do with it by the end of it. So this is your buyer beware spot of the week. André Fili has ruined parlays before, and I'm sure he'll do it again. Vinicius Oliveira is minus 245, and André Fili is a plus 200 underdog, Brady. I have to pick Lockdog. I have to pick Lockdog. But again, I can't. We're talking about safe parlay pieces on this card. Not a Fili's on the other side of it, man. This is not going to be a big parlay piece for me.
No, like this is not a fight I don't see myself touching. It's just because I've struggled, getting a good read on Vinicius Oliveira. Like I tried to fade him with Bernardo Sopai, and I was loving my Sopai bet, for the first 7.5 minutes. Sopai took him down. He was dominating him in the first half of the second round, and then he gassed out because he took the fight on short notice, and then Oliveira got that flying knee. And then he went out there against Ricky Simone, and it's like, wow, I mean, Oliveira's takedown defense looks pretty dang good. And they went out there against Hyder Magomedov, and same thing. His cardio looked good. He beat Hyder Magomedov. That was a great win. He beat Kyler Phillips. That was a great win. And it's like, wow, maybe this guy's pretty good. Four wins in a row. Then he gets a main event spot against Mario Batista. And I picked Batista there, but I didn't have a ton of confidence in it because I just kept getting, Vinicius Oliveira wrong. But Vinicius Oliveira showed up in the Batista fight and just looked awful. I mean, this guy gassed out in 2 minutes. In all fight week, he was saying he cut like 60 pounds during fight week, 50, 60 pounds, which is probably not true, but I mean, he probably cut a ton of weight. So he's moving up a weight class now, which I think is good for him. And if he shows up and he looks like he did in the Phillips fight, the Nurmagomedov fight, the Simone fight, I got to believe he wins this fight. I love the style of Oliveira, the pressure, the volume. He's one of those guys that he looks tired a couple minutes in, but he can fight through the fatigue for the full 15 minutes, no problem. The volume's not going to go down. If anything, it's going to get better and better as the fight goes on. The takedown defense, I think, is improving. The get-up game's improving, and I think that's going to be important here because Fili will go for takedowns, especially in this fight, I think. But Fili's not some lockdown grappler. I can't remember the last time that Fili really took somebody down and kind of held him down. He can take you down, but he can't really hold you down, and I don't see him holding down Oliveira. And then when this fight's on the feet, I just really like the style of Oliveira, the reckless style where he's going to come forward, land big shots, land hard shots, and be able to do that for the full 15 minutes. So I'm not laying chalk on this guy. I still have my suspicions, but in terms of making a pick, I will be going with Oliveira here as well.
Okay. Yeah, we're lining up here on Oliveira. This one should be a really fun fight. Looking forward to it. Miro says besides the KO against Vinicius, Sopai looked like Illia last night, then he got tired. And that's kind of the thing, man. I've seen some big red flags with Vinicius Oliveira. Like I'm not sure if he's a legit guy, right? And obviously he's a legit guy. Don't take that out of context. I mean, like, is he a title contender, Brady? You know what I mean? Like, is he going to be a top 10 guy? Is he going to be challenging for gold? Like, we saw what happened when he got to the level of Mario Bautista, and we've seen him look bad in moments against lower level guys. Is he going to turn that corner and take off to the moon, or is that the guy he is? Because if that's the guy he is, he could fumble against Andre on Saturday. That's all I'm saying.
He could, man. Like, he definitely could fumble. I'd be careful parlaying up Vinicius Oliveira, but
yep. That's your parlay PSA for the week for sure. Be careful on this one, folks. All right, real quick, everybody, shout out Spectation Sports. As you damn well know, Spectation is absolutely crushing it on the regional scene. If you need more MMA in your life, Friday shows, Saturday shows, before the UFC, after the UFC, LFA, prelims, they got it all going right now, you guys. So if you need more MMA in your life, or if you're looking to study some of these up-and-coming contenders, people who are going to be literally on Dana White's contender series, some of the guys from the UFC where you might need to dig up some of their old tape, that's all right here on Spectation Sports. Promo code DIEHARD is going to get you 20% off when you sign up. So whether you're a junkie and you just need some more MMA, or if you're doing it for tape study purposes, I can help you out. I can make sure you get a bit of a discount when you sign up for their platform. We're back. We're talking UFC Vegas 119. I am joined by Brady, my man, DFS by the numbers. We are all feeling it, you guys. Coming off of a late night on a Sunday night, Freedom 250 card. We got a couple fights left to talk about. Support my man. His links and stuff are all in the comment section or the description below. See, I can't even talk, Brady. Like coming off of like a sleepless weekend where I'm doing like cramming study and I'm staying up late. Like, this is what you get. We can't do this Sunday night bullshit anymore.
Never again. I mean, it's been a long weekend, man.
And then, full, as you guys know, like, this is not my full-time day job. I wish it was. It's not a full 8-hour shift. And then this, that it's like, oh my God, like I am ready. I need another energy drink, man. I need a nap. All right, let's keep it rocking, everybody. Melsik Baghdasaryan takes on Murtazali Magomedov. Murtazali is a really cool name. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, I like that. This is a fun fight, man. So Melsik, I'm not going to lie, I thought he was done. I really thought the gun was done. He's 8-3. He's 34 years old. And Brady, this guy just can't get in the cage. He beat Dennis Buzukja back in 2020 on Dana White's Contender Series to make it to the UFC. And I thought he was a stud. I really thought this guy was going to I thought he was going to take off. He's got brutal, vicious striking. Like, everything he throws is just killer. He's got massive kicks. He's very quick twitch. He's very athletic. Started off really strong. And then he ran into Joshua Kalibau. He got submitted. He got taken down. Okay, hit the reset button, buddy. Maybe learn how to grapple. Slow the pace down a little bit. You're good. You got this. Bounces back against Tucker Lutz, and then they throw him to Gene freaking Silva. Now, between all of that, you guys, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? No, 7. 7 canceled fights from Melsik Baghdasaryan. 7 of them. And most of them, not all of them, but most of them, he's been the one withdrawing from, and a lot of them because he's had injuries. He was scheduled against Anderson Brito and pulled out because he had a broken hand. So I think that there's a very real possibility that this guy is having health issues, Brady. I think he's one of those guys, and I always think about this because if you remember back in the day, Conor McGregor was like, see, in MMA, anybody can do this. You just work hard, you study, and you could be a UFC fighter. Well, the truth of the matter is some of these guys are built different. You know what I mean? Yes, you can develop the skill set. Yes, you can train hard. That's all very true. Good message. Fantastic. Right on you. But at the UFC level, when you're fighting the best of the best, it's still an NFL type thing where you've got super athletes and guys like Justin Gaethje who don't bleed. You've got people like that you're competing with. I think Melsik Baghdasaryan might actually be one of those guys where all the skills are there. The mentality is there. He's got everything you need to be a high-level fighter, and his body just might not be cooperating. He might miss his window to be like a legit high caliber, high action, millionaire UFC level fighter because his body isn't working for him when he needs it to. You can't do much when you've got bad injury luck in this sport, and it's highly unfortunate. But that's where I think we're at with Melsik. And I think the UFC is there too. And I think the UFC might be done with him because they're signing him up to fight this Magomedov kid who's 10-0, 26 years old. He's undefeated out of Kyrgyzstan, which we know those guys are monsters coming from the hills, right? 100% finish rate, no decisions on his record. And he's, by the way, an equal opportunity employer. 5 subs, 5 knockouts. This guy's got it all, Brady. Like, I didn't get to do all the tape I wanted to do, you guys, but the tape that I did get to, like, there's not really a bad moment for this guy. And you might say that maybe he's never faced any resistance, and that could be a problem, right? I've bet against people because they've never had resistance before, and that's actually a pretty fun angle. It turns out pretty well if they've just never been tested. But this dude is so fast on the feet. He's got nice, clean, straight shots. The striking look good. He's got good kicks. He's got natural God-given power. He's got blast double legs. He can run the pipe. He's got singles. He drags people down with the body lock. He takes the back with a quickness, Brady. Like, this kid is slick on the mat. And then the one time I did actually see him on his back, he threw up a triangle and choked the fucking dude out within like 2 minutes. He's so good. I like this kid. I like this kid a lot, Brady.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a fight where I taped it and then I see the line and I'm like, the line's kind of suspect to me because I thought that this guy would be a much bigger favorite. And I kind of thought he'd be like around like minus 500 or something.
He's minus 310, people.
Yeah, he opened up minus 500. He's currently sitting around minus 310, but I thought like he'd be a massive favorite. Like, he has the OV at his end, at the end of the name. He's undefeated, 10-0. He can win by knockout. He can win by sub, and he's going against Melsik Baghdasaryan, who, quite frankly, is just mid. You brought up the injuries, the layoffs. I'm looking through Melsik's Instagram. It's like there's like no training footage. The only training footage I see is him training at what looks like outside of a house. It's like, where's this guy training at? Is this guy at a gym? He looks sharp on the bag, but I mean, where does he have a does he have a training camp? Like, what's going on with Melsik Baghdasaryan? And so, yeah, I mean, I the only thing I didn't like from Magomedov is he is a little bit hittable on the feet. I have seen him hurt. I have seen him drop, but he's a tough dude. He got dropped, got back up, and finished the fight. And for this fight specifically, if I'm Magomedov, I'm looking to grapple, man. I mean, I think he's going to have an astronomical advantage on the ground. We saw Joshua Culibao, get on top of Melsik and submit him instantly. Instantly got to the back, instantly choked him out. And Magomedov has really good grappling. So, and it's actually funny, the books don't know either. It's like, is it going to be a KO? Is it going to be a sub? Because they priced a KO and sub at the exact same price. And I think it could be either or. Magomedov has power on the feet, but Melsik has power on the feet too, especially early. But if you're Magomedov, you get this fight down to the ground and you destroy this guy. So
absolutely,
yeah, I like Magomedov. The line just kind of susses me out a little bit because I truly thought it'd be wider. I thought people would be all over this guy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm with you, man. That line move coming the other way kind of surprises me, especially like what we're talking about with that grappling disadvantage. You never know. Maybe this guy really has just been can crushing his whole way up and he's not ready for this level yet. We'll find out on Saturday. I don't love laying big chalk on debutantes. You guys know this.
It's scary, man.
Yeah, and that's my issue on this one, is that very first to shout out my guy Dan Levy again. We might as well invite him onto the show. He's getting shout outs left and right. The vet lesson, it's not a fraud check, right? But when you get that first big step up in competition, when you get that veteran fighter that's been there before, they show you a thing or two sometimes. I could see that being what happens here. I am picking Magomedov to win. You got to trust the family beard over there, right? I got to stick with my people. But I do think the submission grappling is going to be the difference maker here. And I got to wonder if Melsik is maybe not 100% coming into this fight, but we'll see. That's all speculation. I can't guarantee that. I'll text Eric. I'll see what he has to say about it.
You know what I kind of like here? I like violence, man. Or maybe like an under 2.5 or like a fight doesn't go, because Magomedov, he's never been to decision. Baghdasaryan, when he's losing, he's getting finished. We could see a Magomedov KO. We could see a Magomedov sub. But if Magomedov does lose, I kind of think it's by knockout because he is hittable, and I have seen him drop. So I think I would just play violence rather than laying, minus 300 on this guy, because the violence props are, a lot better than that. So that's maybe how I attack it. Some violence here.
Not just a coat rack, my friend. I like the way you think. The way you think. Carlos saying, quote, Illia didn't get fraud checked. He just got to step up in competition. I think you're misquoting me a little bit there, Carlos. I think you're misquoting me. Illia Topuria already had a belt over his shoulder and was in a champ versus champ fight against Justin Gaethje, who's fought the who's who of our UFC historic events. That wasn't a fraud check or a vet lesson. It was two epic level fighters fighting each other, and one of them has to lose. That is not a quote from me. That is not a quote from me. And I think J-Dub is time traveling a little bit. He says, man, a lot of politics in the show tonight. So, hey, take it up with Dana, man. He had a fight on the White House lawn, and the Trumps were involved, and I'm sorry, we talk about the sport. So, like, it's going to happen. If you put us in that kind of a sphere, wait, we're going to talk about the bullshit that Sean Strickland says. So we're going to talk about the bullshit that Hokit says. It's like, it just kind of comes with the territory, man. I'm honestly very much looking forward to getting away from that and stepping out of that circle, because people, God, you guys are getting me back into it. People get just so angry. It's like people get unreasonably angry and they can't see past their own party. And that just drives me bonkers, because I've been branded like this liberal villain who's like I'm spinning a narrative to like take down the Trumps. Do you guys watch my stuff? Like, I talk about fights, man. Like, I'm not some secret journalist out there who's trying to spin a tale. Like, it's exhausting. Because I'll tell you, Brady, I keep up on current events, right? I absolutely know what's going on in the political world, and I make a very conscious decision. I'll crack a joke now and then, but like I try to stay out of it as much as possible because of the volatile reactions that you get when you even just dare to bring it up. I'm like, nope, we're done with the White House. Let's move on, man.
Yeah, people get really upset about that. I don't think I've ever said anything political ever for that reason. People get really worked up about it.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I want to get back to when politics were boring. Like, if I don't have to like freak out about things or have an opinion on something, that means the politics are okay. Like, let's go back to that. I know it's like Pandora's box. I was young and I didn't care as much back then, so probably never happening, but it is what it is. I want to not have that much of an opinion anymore, and I want people to be nicer to each other. That's the biggest thing. All right. Next up, you guys, we got André Lima, and he's taking on Kevin Boras. This is a banger, man. I will be one of the first people to admit, you guys know, as always, if I get it wrong, I'm happy to apologize. I was wrong about André Lima, Brady. This is the guy that got bit. For those of you guys who don't recall, André Lima is the one with the bite mark tattoo because he got chomped on in the middle of his fight. He's 11-0. He's 27 years old, and I legitimately thought the dude that bit him was the better of the two fighters. And then he gets into the UFC and he goes to that split decision with Mitch Raposo. And I used that as like a springboard. That was like a confirmation bias for me. I was like, see, he's not that good. Like, instead of giving Mitch his flowers, I was like, André Lima fucking sucks. I took it totally the wrong way. And he rattled off another win. And so against Daniel Barres, I finally kind of wisened up and I got in on his side. And I'm like, okay, so I was wrong about André Lima. This kid is good. Like, I thought he was low volume. He actually keeps a relatively measured pace. He does a pretty good job of making sure he's filling the space when he needs to, not overexerting himself, not going crazy, right? He's not going nuts, but he's doing enough. He's a very good grappler. He's got good jiu-jitsu. His cardio checks out. I'm like, man, like, why did I think this guy was no good? He's very good. I like André Lima. Kevin Boras on the other side of this thing, 10-5, 28 years old. He's on a bit of a tough skid at this point. He's 1-4 in his last 5, and the UFC is using him to kind of fill out some resumes here, man. His last fight against Imanol Rodriguez, just a death sentence, that poor guy. He lost to Suma Darji. That was a good fight. I can't really like poo-poo him that bad. It was a good fight. They went back and forth. But like Alessandro Costa, he got the van treatment. The one win that he has was fraud checking Lazy Boy Rolando Rodriguez, and that busted everybody, man. I was in that night. I thought Rolando was the goods, and Boras got me that night and really messed me up. I think Boras is a little bit better than his record would show. He's fought a really tough level of competition. He's actually a pretty solid fighter, but I do think this is another spot where the UFC is treating him like a Vince Morales, where he's like, he's going to lose to the good guys, right? He's going to be someone who earns those minutes against a fighter who's got a higher ceiling than him. So I kind of expect he'll go out there and he'll compete, but I do not expect him to win. I think this is another good spot for André Lima. The line is a little out of control, though, in my opinion. Minus 650 for André Lima seems a bit crazy, but I also can't really bite on Kevin at plus 470.
Yeah, I mean the line is wide because it's like Lima's good. He's good. He's good. He's good everywhere, like you said. But he's not gonna like blow your hair back. I mean, he's fine. He's a solid striker. He's a good wrestler. He's a good grappler. But he's not like he's some murderous power puncher. It's not like he's some submission grappler is gonna take you down and insta sub you. He's fine. I see him winning this fight wherever it goes. It's more of probably a fade on Borjas, if anything, for me, because it's like Borjas. He's extremely low volume. I don't think he has great cardio. I don't think he has a great ground game. He does have a lot of power, and he's one of those guys that really relies on big moments and knockouts. And you're not going to get a ton of those at flyweight, right? Unless you're, Matt Schnell's involved. So, yeah, it should be Lima. I'm leaning decision, actually. Boras is a tough dude. He's been knocked out before, but kind of leaning Lima decision potentially. Minus 600, minus 650. I just can't get there. Like, I don't even know if he's going to look minus 650, but in terms of a pure pick, he should win.
Yeah, right. Like that's definitely where I'm at. I don't know if I can get there. He probably does win. And I hate those spots. I really, you know what? Let me just test something here real quick. Cause we were looking at the chalk earlier in the night, right? Michael Aswell, Bia Mesquita, and then I'm just going to see what André Lima does to that. Oh, that's minus 143.
God help us.
It's not bad. I mean, I hate money line parlays, especially if you're not getting plus money. But like, man, I think all three of those win.
I know what I mean? But if I did a 3-leg parlay last week, Topuria would have been involved. And it always seems like one of them gets you, So, but yeah, all three of those guy and lady should win.
Yep. I mean, the one thing I will say about that, though, Brady, is we are talking levels here where I feel like you can abuse some of these lock parlay legs. I don't like the L word, guys. There's no locks in MMA. You can kind of abuse them at the lower level. At the higher level, you're parlaying minus 500 against Justin Gaethje. Like, there's always a chance Gaethje can pull that upset. Is there always a chance that Kevin Boras pulls that upset? No, not as much. You know what I mean? Like, I feel a little more comfortable parlaying against lower level guys like that.
Yeah, I love fading lower level guys. I remember I faded Yisak Lee a couple weeks ago. That was fun.
There you go. I need to get more comfortable with this chalk thing, Brady. Like, sometimes these the casual friends, man, when they come at me and they're like, bro, I made $500 this week. And I'm like, yeah, I lost $1,000. Cause like I'm shooting at even monies and I'm trying to hit like a decision prop. They just parlay up, 4 giant favorites and they all come through and I'm like, fuck you. I'm the one with the podcast. Those are the worst conversations to have on a Friday night. All right, guys. It is C-Rod Fight Week. I have been waiting so long to say this again. My boy Christian Rodriguez is back in the cage, and he's taking on Hyder Hurricane Amil. What a fight. This one should be really, really fun, Brady. So Hyder Amil is just all action all the time. They call him the Hurricane for a freaking reason. 11-2, 36 years old. He came to the UFC undefeated, and he's rattled off back-to-back losses. He got a split decision over William Gomi that was questionable, and then he gets knocked out by Jose Delgado in the very first round. I mean, we're talking 20 seconds in. Like, Jose just swamped this guy. And then he goes the decision with Jamal Emmers. Tough look on that one. Emmers is another guy that I'm not quite sure what to make of. He kind of does some weird things and then looks like $1 million and then gets knocked out. And that's big question marks for me on that one. So Hyder Amil is an all-action type of guy, a guy that you're going to want to watch, a guy that's really fun and entertaining. He's going to put it on you. But at the end of the day, I don't know if that carries him. It's like pre-get serious Justin Gaethje, right? When he just came in and he just slugged it out with everybody and he got knocked out a bunch of times. Like, he got serious after that. Can Hyder get serious? You know what I mean? Like, will he get serious and rein it in a little bit and strategize and take a leap and take that next step? Or is he just going to be this Michael Chandler guy for his whole time in the UFC? He is a little bit older. We'll see what happens. C-Rod, though, is 12-4, 28 years old. He's just now coming into his prime, and he was an absolute fucking monster down at 135 pounds. He was my favorite bantamweight prospect until Peyton Talbot showed up on the scene. I loved C-Rod at 135 pounds, but he couldn't make weight. He just could not make weight. He derailed guys like Austin Bashi, like Cameron Simon, like Raul Rosas Jr. I mean, he's just this wonderful counter grappler. He stuffs all your takedowns. He's got clean boxing, and he just kind of moves you back. After you start to slow down, he starts beating up on you. He doesn't have a ton of power, which is, I feel like, really kind of a knock on him, Brady. If he had power, I feel like his entire career trajectory would be different. But he's got good timing. He's got good speed. He's got decent volume, but he always starts by kind of giving a little bit away at the beginning of the fight. He really has to rely on his opponent slowing down a little bit, and then he ramps up as the fight goes on. Pardon me, frog in the throat. So if you're not getting one of these come forward, all steam type of grapplers like Austin Bashi, his game plan has not done well against larger 145ers since he's moved up. He lost to Julian Erosa. He just got kind of out-muscled in that spot, and Juicy J's got that nasty guillotine. He lost to Melquez Acosta. That one's not aging poorly. Melky has gone on a massive run recently, but again, he just felt like he was a little undersized in that spot. He lost to André Touchy-Fili. It was a split decision. It was a relatively competitive fight, but it's a veteran who's really big. C-Rod, I think, belongs at 135, man. And I really I hate this because he's my guy and I want to ride or die with him, but he's minus 185 against Hyder Amil. Amil's going to put a pace on him. Amil's going to come forward. Amil's going to look to make it ugly, and he might even look to grapple. Is Amil going to gas? If Amil gasses, then C-Rod probably comes on in this fight, but you'll get a better live line on him. You don't want minus 185 pre-flop. Get plus 125 in round 2. You know what I mean? So I think I'm going to live bet C-Rod if I get the opportunity to. Could he crack a guy like Hyder Amil with that clean boxing early and put him away? Maybe, but we haven't seen that kind of power at 145 from him. I'm not sure I want to count on that happening until I see it at least look like there's a chance of that happening. I think he can out-cardio Hyder Amil. It's probably C-Rod by decision, but it also could be Amil by sub. Amil could just be too big. Amil could be too strong. And I think a lot of guys in the UFC at 145 are going to be that for my boy C-Rod. So I don't know what to make of it. I will say I like that Christian Rodriguez took an entire year off after the Fili fight because he's been developing. He's trying to grow his body to be a natural 145er since he decided not to hang around at 135. He's putting some muscle on. So I'm hoping he's making the transition. I'm hoping that he's developing and sharpening some new tools. And he comes back and he's the guy that I really hoped he could be. Because I had such high hopes for him at 135. I'm going to wait for a live bet, you guys. I'm still going to pick C-Rod to win. I think it's a bad number, though. What about you, Brady?
Yeah, I did my prediction video yesterday, and C-Rod was minus 145, minus 150. So yeah, some money's coming in on C-Rod, and I kind of agree with it. I'm with you. This guy at bantamweight was he's been so good, but he couldn't make the weight. He missed weight 3 times, was forced to move up, and now he's just going to be undersized in all these matchups, which is annoying. But yeah, and I'm a big fan of Hyder Amil, but I'm worried about him. This guy's not, some young guy. He's 36 years old, and it's he only has 13 fights, but he's taken a lot of damage. Every single time this guy fights, it's it's a complete war where he's taken years off his life. He's showing up nowadays with the double knee sleeves, and that Emmers fight was a bad look. I mean, it was weird. I don't know if he was hurt or sick or what, but I mean, he gassed out in 5 minutes. Couldn't get back up when he got taken down. And I kind of think Rodriguez could potentially implement a game plan, somewhat similar to Emmers, where, Rodriguez takes this guy down because Amil can be taken down and held down. We saw him even taken down and held down a little bit on the Contender Series fight, and he did gas a little bit in that Contender Series fight as well. So, Amil's gassed before multiple times. He's been taken down multiple times. And Rodriguez took down Mel Costa 6 times. So, yeah, I think Rodriguez could potentially grapple here. I think Rodriguez is more durable. Rodriguez is younger. Rodriguez has the better cardio. So, yeah, do I love the line? Do I love laying chalk on Christian Rodriguez? Not really. When I bet Rodriguez, I want to bet him as a dog, man. This guy has cashed as a dog so many times. So laying chalk on him is kind of gross, but at the same time, I get why people are backing Rodriguez here. I mean, that Amil fight against Emmers, that was just a horrible, horrible, horrible look. And if he shows up and looks like that against Rodriguez, the line might even be short. So I'm hoping Amil was sick or hurt or whatever, because that was a bad look against Jamal Emmers there.
It was a really bad look. And Miro says Rodriguez sub, which I don't hate. Man, at the height of C-Rod's powers, I thought he was going to be a round 3 machine. I when people gassed out and he got his grappling going and his boxing going, I thought he was going to cook people and just destroy them in the 3rd round. That just hasn't quite happened. So I'm kind of thinking he's more of a decision machine. But I do like the bold call because he does have good chokes. I will tell you guys, if it wasn't for the 1 submission loss on his resume, man, I thought C-Rod was unstoppable via sub. We've seen him put in some really deep positions, some bad sub spots, and he just knows how to fight his way through them. He's really slick, really good defense when he gets down there. I just think it was a wake-up call, against UCJ coming up to 145. It was like, welcome to the show, kid. You know what I mean? A real UFC veteran, a big 145er, not like your average general 145er, but a big 145er being like, this is what 145 is about. And it's like, okay, can't do shit about that. We'll see what happens. I love, by the way, the chat is absolutely popping off here. My boy Vinzi, if you guys didn't see, I told you my soccer guy, he told everybody to live bet the draw in the Iran game that's going right now. And Iran appears to have tied it up. So you got some DJs in the chat sweating out soccer during the podcast. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love you guys. All right, co-main event. We got Ion Cutelaba, and he takes on Navajo Stirling. I have never seen a boring Ion Cutelaba fight, Brady. I do really wish he would bring back the all green, though. I miss the Hulk. I know that's got to be a pain in the ass, cleaning that green out of your butt crack for, like 3 days after you painted yourself head to toe. That's got to suck. But I loved it. I wish he would bring it back. My favorite Moldovan fighter here, 2011 and 1, 32 years old. So still got some juice in the tank, if you ask me. He's on a decent little run here, 3-1 in his last 4 fights. The loss coming to Modestas by split, and I will die on the hill, Brady. He won that fight. He absolutely won that fight. I will take it to the grave. He's winning by sub over guys like Umar C. Got Ayapol Aslan out of there. If you want to brawl, Ion can brawl. If you want to grapple, Ion can grapple. He's got good wrestling. He's a powerhouse. The one thing I always say about Ion, though, good hammer, bad nail. He can fight his way through. It's not like he doesn't have heart, Brady. You know what I mean? He's not a Brundage. He's not one of these guys where, like, as soon as the tides turn, that's it. It's over. He does have some ability to dig deep and get back there in those fights, but you also can see a pretty distinct difference, like the Kennedy Nezachukwu fight, right? Like when the fight gets extended and it's not really going your way and you can't find your way in, like there's a little deflation that happens there, and he can be in some bad spots and not really make the best decisions. The fight IQ is always a massive question. I will always remind people that this guy got himself no contested because he faked like he was hurt against Magomed Ankalaev, and he was so convincing that the referee stopped the fight. So he literally will do dumb shit like that in a fight for an advantage sometimes. Navajo Stirling is 9-0, undefeated, from New Zealand, 28 years old. He's a city kickboxing kid, and it looks like he's starting to put it together, man. When he was on the regional scene, he was just icing people left and right. And I kind of talked about that. When these guys get that big step up in competition, they make it to the UFC, they got to be a little careful. There's a little bit of time for development, right? Not all of them just run through everybody all the way up to the top. He rattled off a couple of decision wins, which is good. I think a young fighter like him needs those minutes. You need that cage time. In his last fight, he finally got that knockout. He got Bruno Lopez out of there in the second round with a big finish. Not that Bruno is necessarily anything to write home about, but it shows that the development of Navajo Sterling is still strong and he has still got that power. This is a really, really fun fight. Navajo Sterling is one of the more exciting prospects in some of these upper heavier weight classes, and Ion is a guy that you can't count out. He is always fun. He is always entertaining. He has been finished, though. 3 knockout losses, 4 sub losses. Dude does have miles on him. He's been around for a long time. Ion Cutelaba is plus 250. Navajo Sterling is minus 310. And I hate to say it, man. I really do, because I love me some Ion Cutelaba. The world is right. It's a good, happy time when Ion Cutelaba is winning MMA fights. But this, I feel like this could be Navajo Sterling's coming out party. This could be that big name on his resume. You know, if he sprawls and brawls here and keeps Ion Cutelaba at the end of his punches and then just lights him up with something big, I could see him knocking him out, Brady. I got to go with Navajo, unfortunately. I wish I could just put my balls on the table and say it's Ion season. I don't know that it is.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's Sterling here. You know, what I like about Sterling is this guy's takedown defense is very good. You know, he's a kickboxer, right? He trains at City Kickboxing. Guys are going to be looking to take him down. Guys have tried to look to take him down. They can't. I mean, his takedown defense is phenomenal. And I've always said the City Kickboxing guys, they always have good takedown defense. Like they're probably drilling that like a million times a day. Like even like Blood Diamond, who was awful. Like even he had like pretty good takedown defense. So yeah, the takedown defense checks out. And even in one of his fights, I think against Bellato, he was actually showing off some wrestling. I was like, dang, dude. And then the striking's really good. I mean, he's long, he's rangy, good kicks. He mixes it up to the body. The only knock on Sterling is I worry that he doesn't have a ton of power. Like he's dragging Rodolfo Bellato, who's chinny to decision. He's dragging Ivan Erslan to decision. He's dragging, Tuco Tokos to decision. And he did get his first UFC finish against Bruno Lopez, but it took him like 3 minutes after he hurt him to get him out of there, And part of that was Keith Peterson's fault. It was a horrible stoppage, but kind of worry about the potential, issue with the power, right? But the way I see this fight playing out is, Ion Cutelaba probably tries to wrestle. He should, but I don't think he's gonna have a ton of success. And if he does like sell out for the wrestling, he's probably gonna tire out like he does more often than not. And I think it's going to kind of just be target practice over the course of the fight. The question is, does Sterling knock him out? Does Sterling win by decision? And I don't know, like Cutelaba, he's been knocked out 3 times, but the first Ankalaev knockout was fake. The second one was real, and then the other knockout loss was Kennedy. Other than that, I do think Cutelaba has a very good chin. So I think if it is a knockout, I kind of think it's going to be more like attritional, like Cutelaba gasses out and stuff like that. And I'm looking at the finish props for Sterling, and it's like Sterling inside the distance is minus 135. I don't like that just because, I've lost so much money on this guy's KO props already. Like I lost money on him not knocking out Tokos. I lost money on him not knocking out Erslan. I probably lost money on him not knocking out Bellato. And then the one time I didn't bet the knockout against Lopez, he knocks him out. So I'm personally probably staying away. But yeah, I think Sterling gets it done. I think he gets it done here. The question is, does he knock him out or does he win by decision for me?
Yeah, it's definitely the question. I'm with you. I think I'm picking Navajo in this spot. I don't think he's going to make the chalk parlay, right? This is another one where I could see Ion with the vet lesson. I could see him get the wrestling going. And you can't ever forget about that overhand right. You never know. He's got paths to victory. I'm going to probably just watch this one. Picking Sterling, probably hands off from a betting perspective. All right, guys, we made it. It is main event time. We got over 300 of you live watching the show. Please do me a favor, hit the like button. Of course, support our guy Brady, and let's talk about the main event. And this is a banger, man. This for a dumpster in the Apex, this is a hell of a main event. Manel Kape taking on Kyoji Horiguchi. It's a title eliminator, Brady. It's a title eliminator. Now, the question is whether or not they're going to let Manel Kape wear his bra on Saturday. Starboy is 22-7. He is 32 years old, and he has rattled off some big wins, man. 3 finishes in a row. KO'd Bruno Silva, KO'd Aso Almabayev, KO'd Brandon Royval, and he did that last one in the first round. This man is hunting that title fight. You know, he got signed to the UFC. The whole point was him coming over and getting to challenge for a title. Instead, he fucked around and he said things on the microphone they didn't like, and he missed weight a bunch of times, and he's pulled out a bunch of fights, and he's been a real pain in the ass ever since he made it to the UFC. And so he hasn't ever achieved that big status that we thought he was going to. He never got gold wrapped around his waist the way we thought he was going to. I mean, 2-3 years ago, I was betting futures props on Manel Kape. I quit. I gave up. I stopped doing it because he's just never getting himself to that damn title shot. Well, it might finally be here, man. He's got it all, Brady. He really does have it all. This guy has got nuclear power in his hands at this weight class. That is rare. He hits very, very hard. He's very athletic and explosive. He does the things like the flying knees that you love to see. So big highlight reel KOs and shit. The problem for me is he plays with his food. You know, I go back to like the David Dvorak fight, I want to say it was, where he had David Dvorak finished by TKO in the first round and then backed off to like emote and dance in the center of the cage. And then he had him finished by sub in the second round. And then he started like, was he like sticking his tongue out? I don't remember what he did, but he didn't quite finish the sub. And then he was like, okay, fine, then we'll just go the full 15 minutes. Like, you can't trust the guy's in-fight decision-making skills. Sometimes he does some really, really stupid shit. And even when he first got to the UFC, he lost to a guy like Mateus Nicolau, who he should have smoked on the first punch, but he played with him. He'll do the Anderson Silva thing where like he'll pop you once and he'll point at you and he'll point to the ground and stick his tongue out at you. And so like he does all this shit and thinks he's winning the fight when he's not actually scoring, you know? It seems like he has remedied that. It seems like he has locked in and he's really got his sights set on the title. His last couple fights show the dedication is where it needs to be. He's also an underrated grappler, man. He calls jiu-jitsu gay. He doesn't like doing jiu-jitsu apparently, but he's done it enough to figure out how to submit people. So he is a dual threat. He's not just a knockout guy. I do like the fighting game of Manel Kape. I made the bra joke earlier, but that's because this guy's been on the good stuff for years and years and years. He does have like the floating Izzy titty thing going on sometimes where you can, guys that have abused a little bit, they've got a little bit more to love than most of the rest of us. So he's got that going on. And hey, I stopped complaining about drug cheats in the UFC a long time ago, man. You just bet on them these days because they hit harder than the other guys. Kyoji Horiguchi, 36-5. 35 years old, training out of American Top Team. I love this guy. I'm loving the resurgence of Kyoji Horiguchi, man. He's one of the best UFC fighters we have ever seen. And the only guy he ever lost to in his first UFC run was Demetrius Johnson. Like, that should tell you everything you need to know about this guy. They cut his weight class, so he disappeared to Japan for years, and now he's finally come back, and he's just exciting, man. He's another guy that can do it all, and he's training with, like, one of his training partners is Alexandre Pantoja. He got on the mic after beating Tagir and called out his best friend and trading partner for a title fight because he's like, I don't care. Like, I want UFC gold, man. Let's go. They're in the same gym together, but, like, that's the kind of level caliber teammates he has. That's who he's working with. That's who he's rolling with on a daily basis. He can strike. He's extremely fast. He can grapple. I mean, he got Tagir Ulanbekov out of there in the third round with a submission. I think a lot of people didn't see that coming, but his hands are so quick. The way he explodes in and out of range, like, I love Horiguchi. I'm so happy he's back. This is a really interesting fight. It is really high stakes, and this line is super close and very competitive. Minus 162 for Manel Kape and plus 136 the comeback on Kyoji Horiguchi. And I think this is a title eliminator type of spot, man. Whichever guy wins this fight is going to challenge Josh Van probably in the next fight. Who do you got, Brady?
Yeah, this fight's a high level fight, man. I mean, both these guys could potentially be champion one day. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Manel Kape's phenomenal. I like this guy. I thought when he first came into the UFC, he might have, still a hole in the grappling. He's lost by sub a couple times, been taken down outside the UFC, but he's patched that up and then some. I don't think that's a hole in his game anymore. If anything, his grappling's like really good now. His takedown is really good now. And of course, he's always had that power. I mean, this guy has next level power for a flyweight. The only knock on Manel Kape is sometimes, when he can't have that big moment, when he's not getting those knockdowns, landing those big shots, he can kind of fall behind a little bit. Like the Mokaev fight, got outstruck at distance by Mokaev, got outstruck at distance by, Alexander Pantoja in his debut. He lost the Mateus Nicolau fight just because he wasn't doing enough, and that's kind of the worry here, where if he's not having that big moment against Horiguchi, if he's not hurting Horiguchi, I think it's a very, very close fight. So I think Kape does have the finishing upside here for the most part. I think Kape's super durable. I think Kape hits harder than Horiguchi, but minute for minute, I think it's a very, very close fight. If anything, maybe even favor Horiguchi with the volume potentially. So I'm going to lean with the dog here in Horiguchi, but this is one of those fights where I think I might just sit back and enjoy it. It's a high level fight. I like both these guys quite a bit. I want to see both these guys succeed. So I'll say Horiguchi wins like a close decision, but if there's a finish in this fight, I kind of think it's Kape catching Horiguchi. This is a rematch, but that fight was like 10 years ago, so you can't really look into it. And I think Kape's improved so much since then. So I'm gonna go Horiguchi as the dog. Maybe I'll see where the line goes throughout the week, but I'll take him to win like a competitive decision in this one.
You and I are in lockstep, my friend, and that is the Link Memorial Dog of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. I like Kyoji Horiguchi in this spot too, Brady. I think it's going to be a lot like my Dog of the Week this past week. I'm not going to go 2 units. I'm not going to go 3 units. I'm not telling you guys Kyoji's a lock, bro. But I do think that he has the tools to win this fight. I think he can keep the space and keep the range. I think he makes better in-fight adjustments and decisions. I think he'll put more volume out there. And I also think he'll understand that he has to avoid the threat of the big shot. I think he'll win minutes, and minutes versus moments. I think he can grease away a decision win here, man. I like Kyoji Horiguchi, and I think I'm going to play him as the plus 135 dog. I'm with you. Let's see where this number goes. Hopefully we can get it a bit juicier. That would be sweet if we could get like a plus 150 or a plus 160 or something by fight time. I do agree with you also that if there's a finish, it's probably from the Manel Kape side of things. He's so tough. He's almost impossible to finish. He's only been finished twice by sub, and that was a long time ago. So while it is totally possible, I think it'd be more of a decision than anything in this spot. Although you mentioned that this is a rematch, one of those subs. Guys, Kyoji was the guy that submitted him. It was another third round submission from him. So he knows the game plan, and yes, Kape has improved. But Brady, the biggest thing is the fight IQ for me. I'm going to bank on the fact that Kyoji makes better in-fight decisions than Manel Kape does, and he'll squeeze those little transitions that'll allow him to win the fight. So I'm with you. Let's go Kyoji.
Yeah, Kape makes horrible decisions, I think, in and outside the cage. He doesn't seem like a smart guy to me, but he's a phenomenal fighter, though.
It's true. It's true. Guys, that is UFC Vegas 119. Thank you very much for hanging out with us this evening. Thank you very much for watching the show. It's been an absolute blast. Brady, I appreciate you jumping in here on short notice after a crazy card, staying up late, the extra legwork. You are the man. If there's anything you want to shout out or advertise, sponsors, whatever, my man, the floor is yours. You go right ahead.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling it today.
I'm been dragging a right day, now, man.
I went to bed at like 3 a.m. My son woke me up at like 6 a.m. I'm like, go back to bed, dude. What are you doing? So it's been a brutal day, and then I have a show with Wheezy here. If you guys want to listen to more breakdowns, me and Wheezy are going live in about 30 minutes to break down these fights again. We'll probably talk about some Freedom 250 as well. And yeah, thanks, Clint, for having me on. I'm always down to jump in on short notice.
Don't get too political, Brady.
No, I don't think I've ever said one political thing, and I've been around for like 6-7 years. So I don't think I will, because the reactions you get are people are angry. Crazy.
Oh, you're a trooper, man. You're a trooper. Thank you so much. I can't imagine doing another show after this one. I'm sorry I put you in that position.
You're good, man.
Okay. I owe you a steak or something. Guys, go give Brady some love. Watch him and Wheezy later on tonight. Hit the like button on your way out. Of course, we'll get the total takedown. We'll get Clint's hot props. And of course, on Friday, the undefeated post weigh-in show. So thank you guys for being here. Appreciate the love and support. Kick some ass this week. Let's cash some more tickets. And hey, we've got a dream to fulfill. Apparently 17 units is what we're going to be up this week. So let's freaking go, baby. Let's roll.